Oh my. What is cooking, everybody? Welcome to another fan-freaking-tastic episode of The Usual Suspects. My name is A.A. Ron. I am also known as Fourzze. You can find me and my work on repulsecollectibles.com alongside many other phenomenal font artists here in our wonderful Saber community. It is going to be just another stellar evening. We got a killer lineup tonight. Things here in life are getting so much better. You see the change of venue here. It's dark, and we brought the puppies home, and they're like down here, and they're sleeping, and we're trying to get them on like a really nice sleeping schedule. So it's going to be quiet on my end. With me as always, and I'm very happy to bring him back this week, finally, my co-host, my dude, my man, Shadow Tech A.A. Ron.
What is up, man?
I'm glad to see you. I am so happy you're here.
Yeah.
Y'all, this is my co-host,
Oh,
this is my number one. Number two.
Yeah, no, man, dude. Life has been hectic on my end. I got put on a night shift schedule, so I'm pretty much sleeping during the day and
Chad
working at
Vader,
night.
night shift manager. Also part of our Usual Suspects team. Y'all know him as the Ninja Jedi Order. We know him as Mike, and we love him. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Also the co-host of the Usual Suspects halftime show, and might I add, you guys on the Fridays have been knocking it out of the park.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
What's cooking on your end, dude?
Not much, man. I just got that new iPhone 13. Trying to get some high quality videos out soon in a couple of weeks. Otherwise busy with life stuff, honestly.
Yeah, dude. At the 10 o'clock hour, I'm going to tell you about a phone that I'm looking at, and I want to get some feedback from the comment section on.
Is that the comment that you left on the
ROG? Yeah.
I just opened that up and then I didn't have time to look at it. So yeah, I'll let you.
You're good. Oh my gosh. All right. So, and making an early guest appearance, the return of the great and mighty Jeff Birch.
Oh, excuse me. Let me fold my superior phone and set it off to the side.
I saw that.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, dude. It's always good that you're here. Well, tonight, kiddos, we have a very special guest. But let's face it, every week is a very special guest, and we've had some home runs, and tonight is no exception. It is my privilege, it is my honor to introduce another absolute legend in the Saber community, ArcSabers Sabersmith, Daniel Rosshirt.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Daniel, how are you?
Glad to be here, doing well. How's
going
everybody
on,
else
my man?
doing? Man, it's been a fun Saturday. It's a little dreary here in Georgia, but
Georgia.
I took a couple naps. I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna lie. I took a couple naps today. So,
For those of you who have seen it, I'm not going to get it right now because I have to go around puppies. But if you guys have seen me wielding the copper-esque, gold-esque Fourzze saber, I like to call it, Daniel here is actually the builder and the mastermind behind that saber and many others in our community that have just been incredible. So, Daniel, I know I explained the other day how this works for everybody in the room and everybody who will be joining here in just a few minutes. We have a few more regulars coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is going to be able to ask you two questions.
Cool.
At the end of each of those two questions, we'll then see how much time we have left until the 10 o'clock hour, in which it is completely yours. It is your time to do with it, say with whatever you want real fast. Let's go into the comments section just to say hey to everybody. We got Liam. What's up, dude? As always, we have Cole joining us from the treadmill.
Cool.
We have my dude Isaac. Hey, Aaron. Let's go. Cole, everybody having fun? Oh, okay, so Cole just installed a Parks. A DV6.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
He's
Yeah.
not
Cole,
Park.
dude, and Cole. I hope you painted that emitter black, just so you know. My boy Holiday 31, who is the mastermind behind 2 of my upcoming fonts from the Old Republic. So y'all give a shout out to Matt and his lovely wife Donna.
Awesome.
We
Family
have
Shout out, dude.
we have Cheetos in the house.
Shit.
We have the Meg
Oh,
is here.
Nice.
Meg
What
Tooth
up?
That's
is
a
here.
legend.
Here.
That's
Yes,
the legend right there.
We have it's Jeff, who's
Yeah.
supposed to be on the screen,
Yeah.
Jeff's like, hey, what's up?
and a
No.
shout from Meg Tooth here.
Thank you, sir.
Next, before we get started, Daniel, I would like to introduce the owner and proprietor of Repulse Collectibles, none other than Mr. Brandon Robbins.
What's up, B?
What's up?
How's it going, man? Good to
Good.
see
How's
you.
everybody doing?
Sorry,
Good.
man.
And of course, we have no stranger to the suspects, being that he is a brand new usual himself. Y'all give it up for the main man of Syndicate, Mr. Preston.
Awesome.
Hey, there he is.
What's up?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, dude?
All right, so everybody, y'all welcome Daniel, and we're going to kick this thing right off. And my co-host, Aaron, I would like you to go first.
All right. Well, Daniel, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've been stoked for this all week, so I'm excited.
Cool. All right. So, 2 questions. All right. I'll just pop off the one that we usually do. What was your Star Wars moment? You know, what was that one moment in Star Wars that you saw that really stuck with you? It drives you, it motivates you to do what you do today. It is what makes you a fan.
Wow, that is that's a big question because there's so many great Star Wars moments. I'll tell you that the first Star Wars film I saw was Empire Strikes Back. So I had not seen Star Wars: A New Hope. I had no idea who these characters were, what was going on, and still, you know, the fight with Luke and Vader and the moment, you know, I am your father. I mean, that just I think that got me, you know, that really kind of got me because it was the first time I had ever seen or heard of a plot twist like that ever in my life. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't even know plot twists existed back then. And, you know, just mind blown. And I was like, yes, I need more of this. What else is happening here? And so I think that was the first big moment for me in Star Wars.
Awesome. Cool. All right. For my second question, what is your favorite lightsaber blade color?
Ooh, that's a really cool question.
You could be as creative with it as you wish.
You know, I think white is probably my favorite color.
Nice.
It's not my favorite for battery life on a NeoPixel, I'll tell you that. But as far as just kind of the idea of the white blade, meaning that, you know, that it was a Sith crystal, so it was a damaged, hurt crystal that's been purified and hasn't yet taken on any new characteristic. It was never necessarily bonded to a Jedi, but was instead bonded to the dark side, and then was cleaned, and kind of, you know, is empty and gets a fresh start. So I think the idea of that and the Ahsoka Tano story with the white blades is really cool as far as blade colors go. You know, I think that one kind of speaks to me the most.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. That was a good question. That's awesome.
All right, so next I'm going to throw it to Preston.
Awesome.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. Haven't talked to you in a couple days. How's it been?
It's been going. It's been a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, I feel that.
So, I was just thinking, something to ask, and I come up on what you do a lot of customizations. So the first one I'd like to ask is, what is either your favorite piece that you've done so far, or what is like, because I see they're kind of themed and stuff like that, or what is something that you want to do in the future?
Ooh, that's good. So that's a two-part question. I like that. Favorite one I've done, I got to be honest. I've done some really, really cool ones. But my favorite one is I actually brought it for the show. I've shown it off a few times. It's this bad boy. It's mostly MHS V1 and V2 parts with some extra goodies and greeblies. The grip actually comes from a flashlight and a couple different things thrown together. So this one I did for my middle son last November when he turned 13. And I've built a few lightsabers for my kids, over the years, but this one, he got into the process of it. He had some input. He was like, I want it gold, but not crazy Sith gold, and so he got to have some of the artistic input. And so building that was really, really fun because we got to do it together. Obviously, he doesn't know how to use a lot of the machinery, and he doesn't know how to solder. So he couldn't get hands-on with it, but he was there for the creative process, and that was so fun to be able to do that with him and kind of share that experience. So that's my favorite custom that I've ever done is definitely this guy.
That's awesome.
For the second part of the question, I do have some plans that I don't want to get into too much, but Fourzze has actually already made me a sound font for the project that I want to do. And I'll say that it's a cross-universe project, and it's extremely ambitious. I didn't know how ambitious it was going to be when I started, but if I can make it work, then spinning crystal chambers will not be as cool as they used to be. I'll just... So if I can make it work, because there will be more than just the crystal chamber that moves. But like I said, it's very ambitious, but we're going to see if I can get it. It's probably about a year out. I've still got a lot of testing and figuring out to do, but I do have a special project in mind that hopefully I'll be able to show everyone in the next year.
That sounds awesome. And yeah, like can't wait to see that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because spinning crystal chambers are pretty sweet, man. So,
yeah, it's dope. When your saber
talking
does things. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm very interested to see and hear more about this.
Yeah. Cool.
So the second question I have would be, what little piece of advice would you give to someone who is like starting out and doing what you're doing?
Well, starting out as in like professional, or starting out as like a DIY building lightsabers? Which one?
Just DIY, like people that just want to like start, I guess, building their own kind of hilts.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'll tell you what I did is I read a lot. I read, gosh, so many things. There's so much to understand. If you really want to be able to do it well, there's a lot to understand. So, have your project in mind, and then start to find out. I would say before you do like the work, read about it, talk to people about it, ask questions. That's, I think, the most important thing. One of the guys that I learned from way back when on YouTube videos from TCSS was Rob Petcow, and he always said the same thing: if you rush it, you wreck it. And I agree with that. I believe that. I think he coined that term, and I think he's 100% right. So take your time. These things they're awesome, but if you go too fast, you end up with a lot of problems. It's better to slow down, make sure, take your time, especially when you're learning how to solder. Practice on old circuit boards. Get to where, I know the first time I tried a soldering gun, my hands were, they're shaking. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna kill it. And that's normal. That's fine. But you don't want to do that with $100 soundboard. So
Right.
practice
Right.
on other things. If you're going to do shroud cutting, go to Home Depot and grab some sync tube and practice on that until you get comfortable with your Dremel, until your hand is steady and you know how to clamp things down and how to get your right angles and how to use the different bits, all those things. It takes practice, but reading, watching, asking questions, and practice, I would say is probably the key.
That's good advice, man.
Thanks. I hope so.
Excellent. So next, I'm gonna go up to the right-hand corner and throw it to my man Jeff Birch.
Awesome. What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, forgot to unmute. So yeah, hey, great answers. And I'm gonna kind of roll with that because I gotta admit there's been a little bit of time that I haven't had my face online, so I wanted to do a little bit of homework this week because I knew I'd be here for the questions. And I've seen a lot of great work. I mean, you're detailed. You've got a lot of the metal chassis and stuff, so your page looks great. And something that stuck out to me that I don't think we see enough of, that you are an expert in doing, is calling out partners and people that you've worked with. And you had a Saber. I remember I looked it up like Wednesday, it was like right after New Year's. You've got all the custom parts and the exposed crystal showing and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just remember that post called out like 6 people or something. So the first question is, as an installer, mm-hmm. And present company is not excluded. Anyone that you recommend new installers, build a relationship with that has really helped you and is looking for maybe some people to work with. You've worked with a lot of people, collabs. Who would you recommend?
Man, there's so many really, really great and talented people. And I could give just a list on top of a list on top of a list. A lot of it comes down to what specifically you're looking for. I know that, for me personally, first thing I want to say is that my clients' requests always come first. So who they want to use, if they have a particular thing, like I want a chassis from this person, that's cool. That's what I'm getting, because the client always comes first. But past that, when they ask for recommendations, I've always got some people in my pocket. The quality of Sorok chassis, for example, is just unquestionable. I've used a whole bunch of them. Powder coating, Red Fox drummer. I mean, everybody knows him. He makes some beautiful work. Larry Randall also amazing work. So really it kind of comes down to, when somebody asks me for a recommendation, I try to figure out what are they looking for specifically. If you want etching done, Pete, it used to be Pete's Powder Emporium. I don't know what it's called. I don't remember what it's called now, but he's really good. Carl Danby is amazing. Vaults of Valhalla. So there's just a lot of really good, really talented people in this hobby, and I feel a lot of times just privileged to be in such austere company. But definitely I like to call out the people who contribute to any of the works that I do. I want to make sure that everyone knows who did what, so that when people look at my Sabers and go, oh, wow, that's awesome, then they can, from the post, they can see who to contact. Oh, that's a cool chassis. This is who I contact for that. So that's one of the reasons I do that is so that people can find that information easily.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think, I always push the nerd up philosophy. I think that's great seeing that. And the fact that so many people want to work with you, I think that's a huge compliment. It was to me, and I don't feel like I worked with as like a tenth of the people that you mentioned. So that's great. So
awesome.
The second question I got for you is, as I look through what you've installed, doing that for me, I got to play around with stuff and see what I liked. And sometimes I'd install something just because, I couldn't afford it. So I'd install it, get to see it, and then ship it off, and maybe I didn't buy it.
Yeah. What's
that thing for you? I know you've got your spinning crystal chamber. That's probably something you're looking forward to a little bit. And Saber-wise, after building so many different ones, what's that Saber in the next year that you're like, you know what? I'm going to get me this saber, and it's going to be mine. It's burning deep. But you know,
That's such a good question. Oh, and I have such a good answer. And it's dorky, but the staple gun, baby, that Ezra Bridger,
oh,
man, it's such a crazy, unique design. And like,
Yeah.
most sabers are all, bloop. I mean, it's a tube, right? And so for the most part, a lot of it works really similar. Obviously, some builds are really difficult. SID 2.0s, wow, those are tight. The Y3 that I did a few months ago, oh my gosh, like no space. But otherwise, it's the same basic principles because it's all just a tube. And now you got this crazy thing. It's got all these switches everywhere, and it's got lights up here and lights up here. It's like, wow, what a challenge. I'm really excited, and I actually I have one coming. So fair giveaway. I'll actually get to do that install in the next probably 3 months. And I'm like stoked for it. I'm really excited about that one.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's. I looked at that and I kind of was like, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of that, but then I started thinking about like extra space, what you can do with certain things on that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, and like the tangible font selection to switch from blaster to saber, and how to play with those options, and load different sound fonts for each function. It sounds like a crazy challenge, which I really enjoy. I like a good challenge. So yeah, it's such a weird saber. It's so crazy.
Right. No, I agree. What a good pick. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Good questions. Awesome.
All right, so next I'm going to throw it down to my boy Link.
Awesome.
All right. So, how you doing, sir? How's it going?
Good, man. How's it going, Brandon?
Good. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm always the unprepared one when it comes to these sections. So usually the questions that I come up with are just not like completely off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, are you a gamer? And if you are, what's like your favorite game of all time? And it can be anything from any era.
Okay. So, man, yeah, I'm a gamer. I'm an old school gamer. These days, I feel like I'm a little bit of a poser in the gaming world because I'm one of those adults that like I pick up a game, I play it, and then I don't pick it up for like 3 more months, and I got to go through like a tutorial to remember how to play. So like right now, Devil May Cry 5. Like, oh my God, I've been stuck on mission 15 forever because every month I pick it up and I'm like, yep, can't beat it. I'm going to have to go back a few missions.
Yeah.
So, I was like, I don't remember how to, I'll just go back. So I
Thank
do
God
love,
I'm not the only one.
Gaming, but, being a parent and responsible adult, and, there's always things that are more important. Than playing games, it seems like, so, but best, favorite game of all time, man, I would say it's tied between 2. I got 2 that just hold a place in my heart. Final Fantasy VII, the first time, the original release, that game was, and the music at the end when you're fighting Sephiroth, it's just like, oh my God, I was like terrified, I'm like, and Mega Man 2. Oh my gosh.
Go.
Yes.
Nice.
Mega Man 2.
Got a lot of friends in this stream now.
Yeah, dude, that game. I love all the Mega Man games. My kids, they're teenagers. They play all the modern day games. They've played every Mega Man game. We have them all here. We've downloaded them. They play them, and it's super fun. Me and my son will just get together and be like, hey, let's put in Mega Man X2. And so we'll just play it for like, 3-4 hours. That's nice. Father-son time, Yes. So yeah, dude, and any Mega Man game, but particularly Mega Man 2, that was the best one.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm a big gaming nerd, and especially retro stuff. I grew up with NES, Super Nintendo, all that stuff. So very much nailing, hitting some key points there with especially Final Fantasy VII. I have an original white disc copy with the manual and everything, in like almost mint condition.
Get out.
Nuts. It's kind of a trophy piece for me.
Yeah,
it's not like one of those WADA certified ones or nothing, but you'll have a hard time finding as clean a copy as what I got. No,
that's dope.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Anyway, So next question, I think let's keep it, I guess, Star Wars related. What was your reaction to the Knights of the Old Republic remake announcement?
Oh, I'm stoked. Oh, I couldn't be happier. That game, I think it changed Star Wars gaming in such a big way. Because before that, it seemed like every Star Wars video game was fun if you were a Star Wars fan, but otherwise it was not all that good. And then KOTOR came out, and I was like, oh, this is like deep. This is a good story. And getting to play through that for the first time was just mind blowing. And I think it was revolutionary. We wouldn't have things like the Force Unleashed if it hadn't been for KOTOR, pushing the boundaries. So to find out that they were remaking it was really, really exciting, because I think that storyline in that game, the game has a lot of potential with today's technology, and the story deserves to be retold.
100%, man. I know, I kind of got a little salty. I was talking to Fourzze about it when it happened, and I was like, okay, it's just a cinematic. Like, they're obviously like 2 or 3 years out. They have, this was just a spiced up announcement. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, finally we have confirmation. Yes, they're doing it. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I got something to look forward to in 3 years. You know what I mean? But but all that saltiness aside, like when they put it up on the shelf, yeah, it's going in the bag. Like it's day one. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So that's my
cool.
questions.
Awesome, man. Great questions. Thanks. That was awesome.
All right, so next I'm gonna throw it to Mike.
Hey, Daniel. So
what's up, Mike?
We get a chance to meet before during the week, but yeah, I glad to meet you. And I guess my first question is, out of all your sabers, what was the first saber that you ever worked on? What was the first saber that got you into this, I guess?
So wow, the first one I did was a hardware store saber back in, I think I started it as kind of a side project around 2008, end of 2008, finished it somewhere in 2009, and it was just hardware store parts. I mean, it was, I had looked around online and I had seen some of the stuff that was out, but had never really gotten into the hobby. And that's back when, electroluminescent lighting was like the new, like maybe this is going to be the wave of the future thing. String blades, were starting to be a thing, and we were still stealing Hasbro boards from toys to make sound. So yeah, I wanted a saber, I wanted a belt hanger. It was an empty, and that was the first one I made, and it was pretty cool. And I ended up making 2 of them, and made with weird couplers from the plumbing department, like a double-bladed snap apart, and then I put a couple of metal broomsticks in there for blades, and I was like, yay, ooh.
Not bad for the first one.
So yeah, it was fun. It was, and that got me into the idea of, I can do this, and I can kind of make my lightsaber be whatever I want it to be. I love doing replicas and installing replicas. That's always super fun, and there's a lot of meticulous detail that goes into a lot of those. But I think what really sings to me is the customized personal pieces that, like, there's only one of these in the world, and that makes it super cool.
Awesome, man. Thank you. That's cool that you made a dual saber also the first time around.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess my second question is, what is like your favorite? So we talked about the moment, I guess, in Star Wars. What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Definitely Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many great parts in all of them, but I think A New Hope was great for setting a tone and creating a brand new thing. But they really had to up their game with the second one, because it wasn't going to be brand new anymore. It wasn't going to be the first time you ever saw a lightsaber, or the first time you saw Vader. So I'm sure, as they're sitting there, thinking about how do we make this movie and how do we make it better. There's probably a million ideas that got thrown out. There's probably a million ways they could have done it, And you know, the big secret for the cast, like nobody even knew what the big secret was, and again, it was such a great twist and such a mind-blowing moment. But just all the parts of that movie, you know, the training with Yoda and so the Wampa cave scene. I mean, all of it is just so great. There's no part of that movie that I watch and I'm not just like, yes, this is what I want, you know. It is everything that Star Wars encompasses for me is all in that movie.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's also my favorite one. And the moments that you mentioned, same thing, the Luke versus his father, and then you find out. I was also, as a kid, like, I didn't know what a plot twist was. I was like, what do you mean he's his father? and yeah, so.
But he's the bad guy. What?
Yeah. You were like, no.
You screamed with him, right? No. That's awesome.
Thank you, man.
For sure. Good questions.
So I'm going to take this opportunity real quick to, first of all, welcome the host of the Usual Suspects halftime show, my man Jedi Knight Jeff. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, everybody. How are we?
Jeff, I'm gonna throw the questions to you next, my friend.
Perfect. So first of all, Daniel, I'd like to start off by saying that you have excellent taste in T-shirts, my friend.
Yeah.
Nice.
My wife got this for me. She has excellent taste.
Okay.
If I do say so myself.
I got mine on Amazon, so
you know. Nice.
And then I'd like to just I guess, what is your top 5 list of canon lightsaber hilts?
Canon hilts. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's a really good question. Top 5. I guess if I have to go with canon hilts only, number 1 has to be the Graflex. It just, it is, from what I understand, it is the most iconic sci-fi weapon in existence on planet Earth. You pull out a Graflex, everybody immediately knows what it is. Like, oh, that's a lightsaber. You know, I could pull this out and people are like, oh, what is that? And, you know, if I light it up, they get it, but they might not know what this is. But a Graflex, yeah, everybody knows Graflex.
Right.
And so definitely, you know, mad props. You know, I love the design. It's not great to fight with, in my opinion. It's not very ergonomic, but it's just so iconic and classic. Number 2, I probably would have to say, man, that is a really tough question. I probably Anakin's Attack of the Clone lightsaber.
Yes.
The Tusken Slayer. It's so very close to the Vader lightsaber that we know from the originals, but with the silver shroud and some of the different accents. And it was, I think for me on screen when I saw it the first time, I was like, oh, that's the Vader. That's the Vader saber. This is the early version of it, but that's the Vader saber. And that I was like, wow, they're killing it on this part of the story. And I always track the lightsabers when I watch the movies. I'm, a huge fan, obviously, of the lightsabers. So I was happy to see that. Darth Maul would probably be number 3. First double-bladed lightsaber we saw in a movie, and it was just, mind-blowing, jaw-dropping. It was like, wow. So definitely that's a number 3. Number 4. Canon hilts. So I'd probably got to go with Ahsoka Tano's Clone Wars hilts. I know everybody likes the fulcrums, but I like the Ahsoka Tano Clone Wars hilts. The two slightly different colored blades and just the shape of them. Again, it's not, for the replicas that have been made, they're not always super comfortable. In my hand, at least, to wield, but it was such a cool moment to see, on the screen, and the fact that a cartoon brought it to life. But I was like, wow, that's really dope. I really like that. And then probably number 5, I guess, would be a tie between Sidious or Dooku, and it's a tough balance there. Probably because of the storyline behind it, I would say Sidious lightsaber. just because it was designed to be an insult to the Jedi. Like, I don't even need these toys. You use them, but for me, they're just like, meh. You know, what I really do is the Force lightning and all. You know, so he made it as like an insult, like a middle finger up to the Jedi, and I'm like, ooh, that's just dirty. So I love the story behind those. You know, the Darth Sidious hilt. So probably that's number 5.
Excellent. Those are some good hilts. So who is your all-time favorite character in the Star Wars movies?
In the movies?
Well, in the universe, period.
Okay. Favorite in the universe, period. So I would say probably that's a tie between, if we're talking, you know, the extended universe also, it would be Galen Merrick, Starkiller, or Kanan Jarrus, Caleb Doom. It's a tough tie between the two of them. I think I enjoyed the story of Galen Merrick more because I got to be him. So I'm a little more invested in that character. And that is the Starkiller is definitely the SK1 is my favorite hilt of all time, hands down. That is my favorite. Has been for a long time, and it's not canon, so you know, but it is definitely my favorite hilt. And I love that character. He's so much fun.
Awesome. That was a phenomenal way to answer that question, actually.
Cool. Thank you. That was a good question. I like both of those questions. Those are really good, thought-provoking questions, you know. Get me digging in. I love digging into Star Wars.
All right. Have I been through everybody?
Daniel. I think so.
Okay, excellent.
Fourzze, you didn't ask any questions.
That's why I asked if we went through everybody.
Okay,
right. Yeah. My turn.
Yeah.
All right, so first of all, let everybody know how long you, as a business, have been in Saberland.
Okay, so as a business, when did I guess I took my first commission, would have been November of 2018. Was the first actual customer that commissioned me. I had sold a few lightsabers here and there, built them and sold them on like eBay and stuff. But I don't really consider it any kind of business until 2018. And, you know, I spent, you know, if I built my first lightsaber in 2009, then I spent 9 years, you know, before I felt even comfortable saying yes to somebody. I felt like I had made good sabers and I sold them successfully on eBay, but taking a commission is a whole different, I mean, it's a whole different ball game. It's not like I have a finished product that I'm like, yeah, this is good, I can sell it, but I'm taking an idea and selling that to somebody. I'm making a promise, you know, for somebody's money. And that was a big deal for me to make that decision and make that jump. And the first one went really well, and that got me a second one. And then 2019, it really kind of started to move forward. And then when COVID hit, it took off like crazy, to the point that like I almost completely stopped working my other job. There was some weeks where I was like, yeah, can you cover my shift? Because I got a lot to do. So it really took off with COVID, but it is a big decision to try and do this as a business, like I said, because you know you're taking somebody's money on a promise, and to me that's a really big deal. So it took me some years before I was ready to jump into that.
Excellent. Now, feel free to answer this next one, you know, pretty much any way you want, because it's kind of it's more of an opinion than it is, you know, than factual. But what are your thoughts on? I got to be careful what word I use here. I'm not going to say the evolution. What are your thoughts on the changes that Saberland has undergone from, say, probably your first steps into Saberland, which I'm assuming were probably around, what, 15, 16?
Yeah, I guess it was. I started reading on some different stuff about 2015. That's probably about right. I don't know. Telling time is kind of hard. I got to think about what kitchen I was running at the time. That's hard to do.
I mean, from back then, what do you, how do you feel about the changes, the transitioning, the evolution, if you so to speak, of how things have gone in our community from then to now? The appearance of Instagram, the Reddit, the several Discord pages, people, breaking off into groups, cliques, if so to speak, and just there's just so many, almost countless places that you can find Saber talk throughout the different social medias. What's your take on all of that from then to now?
So I guess the baseline opinion I would say that I have is that it's been a tremendous amount of growth. First and foremost, when I started getting into this hobby, there was a lot of people with ideas and very little knowledge, very little practical, useful knowledge. And so, we had some front runners, man, that really kind of paved the way, for a lot of us. Tim at the Custom Saber Shop, Rob Petcow, Irv Plechter. There's some giants out there that really I respect a lot, because they created a thing, and it was hard to get into at first. It was hard to learn about these things. The information wasn't readily available. Parts were hard to find. So overall, I would say that the progression has been very, very positive, because now anybody who has even a remote interest in lightsabers can find one or build one, which I think is really cool. The free sharing of information on a lot of pages, like Saber Builders Academy is a great page on Facebook, and it's, I got a question, I don't know why this isn't working, and you can ask, and give it a couple hours, 13, 14 people have answered. So I love that part about it. I really, really do. I love the free sharing of knowledge. And this might not be a popular opinion, but I also think that companies like Dark Wolf Sabers, I love Johnny Collado, and I think what he offers to the community is kind of a vital service, because what I do, particularly, is custom installs, custom builds, custom sabers. And I have people all the time that are like, "Hey, can you do me a saber for $200?" I'm like, "Nope." Nope. Sorry, not gonna happen. I'm a single guy, one person operation. So, all the time that I spend on it has to, that's got to pay some bills, because I do this full time now. So, there's just no way that the cost, material, everything. I mean, I couldn't even buy the parts necessarily to build a whole saber for $200. So there's no way I can build you one for 200. But then, you can jump on Dark Wolf, and you can actually find a pretty decent, pretty decent little product. Is it the top of the line? No. I mean, it's not a Martin Bayer Metal Master and a vintage Graflex with NeoPixel, Profi board. It's not that, but not every saber has to be a $5,000 lightsaber.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that want to play with it, and if you can get them in the hobby, a lot of times then they'll start exploring and catching on. And when, prior to companies like Dark Wolf coming around, the best intro people had was, I hate to say it, Ultra Sabers. I don't like calling anybody out, but I'm not a fan personally of their business strategy, let's say. So I like the fact that there's better options now, and I think that's a huge amount of growth in this hobby. Some of the stuff, some of the drama that happens, I think it happens in any hobby, every hobby, anywhere you go in the world. I mean, you go to Kroger and find drama in the produce aisle, right? People are like, "No, you got to get the Lay's." And you're like, "No, I'm buying a store brand." You can find it anywhere in the world, so it's no surprise that it happens. For me personally, I try to stay out of it. It's none of my business. I see things sometimes go on between back and forth. And what my opinion is, if I'm not personally involved, I don't know enough to have an opinion. And so it's not my business. I just leave it alone. Let them let them figure it out, hash it out. If I have any sort of an issue ever with anybody, I do my absolute best to keep it between me and that person. let's fix it, let's solve it, let's make this. And of course, as a professional, my idea is let's make this the best that it can be for you, as a client of mine. That's always my goal. So I try to ignore any of the beef, any of the drama. I laugh at some of the jokes. I read some of the stuff. I don't, but overall, I think the community's grown. It's been a really positive growth. If it wasn't for, all of that groundwork that got laid and the ability to do this, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd still be running kitchens. And, I love to cook. I love running kitchens. That's a hard job. And I did it for 20 years. I worked in kitchens, and it's nice to be home on a Saturday night. Look, I mean, I'm here doing this with you guys, which is awesome.
Heck yeah.
Instead of right now, scrubbing down an oven and telling my cooks to clean get in there and do the dishes, and you got to scrub the floor, and I need you to clear out the cooler. I got to make a produce order. And it's hard running a kitchen. I did it. And this is, this is great. And so I think if it's a hobby that allows me to do this, yeah, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I'm a toy maker now. How cool is that? I tell people I make lightsabers. That's what I do for a living. And they're like, that's so cool. I'm like, I know. It is so cool. So yeah, I love it. I love where the hobby's at. I really do. I love where the hobby's at.
Heck yeah, dude. Well, we have 14 minutes till the 10 o'clock hour, and as promised, these last moments, they go to you.
Cool.
You have the opportunity now to basically speak to the comment section. You get to speak to our viewers, who may be watching from their phones, laptops, computers, whatever, or Johnny Collado on his Xbox on the huge 87-inch TV in his living room.
Is he in here?
Oh,
I don't even know how I can see the comment section.
If he
awesome.
is,
There it is.
if he is, I've seen it. I've seen that 100-inch TV he had all of us on one night. I was like, dude, that's the best thing ever.
100.
That's dope. That's
100.
dope. I love Johnny. I gotta tell you, he's probably one of the most stand-up people in this
You know
entire
what I like
community.
so much about Johnny is when you talk to him, he does this thing, and it's just like a personal quirk that I think it's just like kind of where he's from and just how he talks. But and I love him to death. Johnny, if you're listening, I love you, man. But he's like, he'll say something. You understand? Like he says, you understand? Like every other sentence, he throws that in there, and it's just like he doesn't even notice he does it. And I'm like, I could just listen to this dude talk business all day, man. He's freaking good at what he does, and he's such a good dude. And I love Johnny to death, man.
Yeah.
You understand?
Johnny's awesome, definitely.
Johnny definitely is awesome. I mean, my birthday just over a week ago, 6:00 in the morning, I got a message from Johnny on Facebook Messenger saying happy birthday, brother.
Nice,
just a genuine dude.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
just goes out of his way to treat everybody like a human being. So
Yeah, he's a
Awesome.
phenomenal cat. Daniel, these last minutes are yours, brother.
Yeah,
go
man.
ahead and take 15 minutes. Talk to the community. Talk to everybody. Anything you want to talk about. I'm gonna queue up the pictures that I got from your site.
Oh yeah, cool.
While you're talking, so it's all yours. I'm gonna leave everybody on the screen, but the floor is yours, brother.
Cool. So, you had told me that we could do this. So rather than talk about me, because I've had 48 minutes to do that, now 49 minutes. Here's what I wanted to do, actually, is now I'm going to ask you guys a question. And we've already sort of touched on it. And just, you guys can go around. But, so, and I'll start with me. But here's the question is, name one person who, in a small way, a big way, a silly way, an important way, one person in this community that that made a cool experience for you, that something that it jumped out at you, grabbed you, that really made you feel welcome or brought you in, or you learned something. I've talked about a lot of people. I'm gonna throw one out there. There's a guy, I'm sure you all know him, Omar Zavala, and he sells a lot of cool stuff, man. And so and I've had several really great transactions with him, but he always started every conversation he always started with, hey bud. If you guys have ever messaged him, he always says the same thing, hey bud. And I found myself responding to people, hey bud, because it made me feel warm and inclusive, and I felt like Like I wasn't just some nerd, like, you know, like he made me feel welcome and comfortable with just 2 quick little words when I started doing this and buying parts and doing things. And that it might seem like a small little thing, but that was really important to me, you know, and stands out still today in my mind, having somebody that I don't know just be like, hey, bud. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I like this. I like this group. So yeah, if you guys all want to share something cool, a cool story about somebody that impacted you in a positive way, I'd love to hear it.
All right, let's start with Preston.
Sorry, I had my mic on mute just in case anything in the background got crazy. Man, I'd have to say these guys on screen. I mean, they're kind of my story. Like, I remember a year ago coming into the community, or a year and a half ago, and watching stuff on YouTube when you first look up custom lightsabers and stuff and videos, and then you start looking at font reviews and you know, I would watch Link's fonts and Fourzze stuff and I would watch Jeff's reviews and so just these guys on screen. That's my story. They made me feel welcome right from the beginning.
Cool.
All right, time for a hug. Come on.
Nice. Bring it in. It's awesome.
Let me throw it to Brandon next.
Man, this is a good one because, you know, there's definitely more than one friend I've made over the years where, you know, in this hobby, it seems like more and more every year, at least since I went it kind of on my own track, you know, it just kind of opened up a lot more. But I gotta be honest, man. And I honestly don't even know if he even hangs around in the community anymore or has any relationships left in the community, or I don't know. But Novastar, Matthew Caruto, really is somebody that got, you know, it's because of his, you know, for those that don't know who he is, Novastar was the first font maker, the first like commercial font maker, because Irv Plechter created the Crystal Focus, right? He was the first one to create like a true custom lightsaber soundboard back in the day. And so I guess he probably created something to make it work in the first place. But the first real font maker was Novastar. And that guy made, over his tenure in the hobby, has made well over 300 fonts. Unfortunately, he's not around to update them to Smooth Swing, so I don't think any of them exist in that unless someone just did it themselves. But anyway, Matt was always somebody who I always had work of his to look up to get inspired by, especially with Out of Universe stuff. Like, I think that's really where I got the itch to start doing a lot of Out of Universe stuff. And one of my very first fonts that I ever made, which actually happened to be an Out of Universe font, was Transform. And that just kind of took off and kind of got me established in the community. But it was a particular font of his called Resblade that inspired me to do the Transform font in the first place. I loved Resblade so much. And if you ever go back and YouTube some of the demos of that, it's an outstanding font. It's really cool. And Matt always had something awesome to bring to the table for the community. He always had that variety. And it just, yeah, man, that got me interested in sound. And sound is what really solidified my love of Star Wars and this hobby as a whole with the custom sabers, because I've always been a big music person, music and sound, and like anything I do, even if I need to like step outside and go chill out for a minute, like music is always that therapy go-to thing for me. And, you know, when it comes to sci-fi and Star Wars and, you know, it's my favorite genre and my favorite franchise, it's, you know, getting into the sound design aspect of it, you know, hearing the difference between this character, that character's, and then all the background layers when stuff's happening. That's why I love these audiobooks I'm doing so much, and I won't get off on that. But yeah, Novastar, I think for me, is that guy in this hobby that is always kind of going to be the number one as far as, you know, he's the guy that got me interested in it. and has a reputation of his own that is, in my opinion, will never be topped. So really great dude. I hope one day he makes it back to the hobby, but Matt, if you're out there, man, we miss you, and I'd love to have you come back.
Awesome. That's cool. Yeah, that's a great answer. Great answer.
I'm gonna throw it to Jedi Jeff.
So, I mean, mine's basically the same as Preston. It's every individual on this screen right now. A few that are usually with us that aren't here right now. But it really started with Fourzze. I reached out to him and on one of the streams that he was doing, and in the comments, and he's just so humble and attentive to what's going on in the comment section and people watching, and all these guys invited me in, and it's just exploded from there. Like, I mean, I found the brother that I never knew in the guy right beside you, Daniel, which is Mike. Him and I found out we have so many things in common, and we talk every day, either by text, Instagram, WhatsApp, phone calls, video phone calls, and all these guys are like that. Like they're not just friends that I've made in the community. Every individual on this screen is family that I now have for life.
Awesome.
So,
Jeff Birch, I'm gonna throw it to you.
Yeah. I see what you did, Daniel.
I'm sneaky.
Yeah. So I'm never going to answer this the right way. I can talk about Cole. I can talk about Brandon, Aaron, Albert Flores, a lot of people that I've mentioned before that have been there. But I wanted to say something new that and somebody that hasn't been mentioned. And Aaron knows this. Ra Aisha. And
yeah.
Gosh.
Rara's dope.
she's not as active in the community, but even before Aaron, Brandon, and a lot of these relationships got so deep, one of my very first burnouts, I had a commission. It was a cross guard. There were so many requests. I was just like, it was too much to handle. And I don't think I deactivated Facebook, but I logged out and didn't log in for 2 days. And just out of the blue, my wife, I think, said, "Hey, you got a message from Ra." And I said, "What?" And I looked, and she had written me on Facebook, just saying, "Hey, are you all right? I noticed you've been missing a couple days. You want to talk about anything?" And she was kind of one of the very first people that broke that line of installer and was like, "Hey, I'm here for you if you just need an ear." And
so her.
Yeah, she's not in there as much, and I know why. I think I know why. She kind of agreed with me and kind of left for similar reasons, but she was a good person that stepped out first to check on me. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's such a cool story. That's dope. That's awesome.
I gotta add to that, Jeff. She there was a point in time about a year after my mom passed, and I had already met Brandon and Chris Selman, and but there was a little point in time I had a bit of a lull, and just out of the blue, because I had just finished her Wonder Woman commission for that font that I want, that 70s Wonder Woman that she wanted me to do, and after it was done, I didn't expect to hear from her as often again, and she just out of the blue one day, like she does, she just hit me up, and I just felt better after that. You know, it's like, huh, people care. You know what I mean? So, Mike, I'm gonna throw it to you.
All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna steal from Jeff a little bit, but basically, yeah. Those of you who know me, Daniel, if you don't know what I do, I pretty much just started reviewing sound fonts. That's how I started my channel. And well, it started just putting on Star Wars clips, and then it became that. Once I found out what a lightsaber was, you know, I'm talking about in today's standards, not like Hasbro. And I just like, you know, I reviewed everyone's. I watched lightsaber installers. I watched Sound Font Maker do demos. Fourzze, Link, you know, everybody, and I just like, you know, like just kept doing my thing. Just one day got a message from Fourzze. Never talked to him before. Hey man, we're going live in a little bit. Like it was like 10 minutes, I think, or something. And he's like, "You wanted to join us?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah!" And so just jumped on that. Yeah, jumped on that, and I was like, you know, it was just a surreal moment. And I've seen live streams before, but I was just like, he wants me to be where? I'm going to be live on YouTube. All right, cool. And you know, it's been a long ride already, and it's only going to be longer. And he's become a great friend, and I've gotten to know Aaron, Brandon, Preston, Jeremy, Jeff, everybody. I mean, like, just this guy, Jedi Knight Jeff, man, like he said, so much in common, great guy to lean on, and just a sweet human being. And everyone else here, like, you want to go to somebody, just message. How much times I messaged Aaron Johannan about a lightsaber question, or, you know, I've talked to Preston, like, you know, about, like, you know, hey, if I ever wanted to, like, start, you know, making like sound fonts, you know, dude, like, where do I start? Like no one hesitates to like help you. And like,
yeah,
Brandon, like, no one hesitates. They just answer you, and, you know, it feels like a family, you know, not just like, you know, what did we say, like a stream or two ago, or we were just private. We, you know, we met this way, but doesn't mean we have to stay, you know, only because of lightsabers and Star Wars, you know. It's good to have these guys as friends, and that's all, you know. So yeah, these guys.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Cool, man.
Hey, Ron.
All right, so kind of similar to what a number of people have already said. A lot of people on screen have been a huge impact, but I think most of all, it was probably Aaron.
Again?
Yes, and I'll explain why. So, whenever I first got into this hobby, I had just started doing like very basic installs on hilts, and then I started kind of doing like mic and doing sound font reviews, and then there was one day, I think Fourzze posted on Facebook that he was needing someone to test a new sound font, and
oh my god, I did do that, didn't I?
I messaged him as quick as I could. I was like, "Hey man, I've got a Profi Saber. I can test this if you want. I got a crap load of free time. Just tell me what you need done." And he got back to me. I tested it. You know, we chatted back and forth. We really clicked. And then I ended up becoming a main tester for him, and then I guess Aaron ended up spreading the word to this guy Link, and I ended up becoming a tester for him for a while. And I thought that was just the coolest thing ever, being a tester for OG Link.
Yeah,
you know, and then
OG Link.
You know, and then
Grandpa.
Like, there's
All right. Hey, man. As long as it's a good
that
thing.
was awesome.
Take it easy.
I mean, there's just so many cool fonts that I got to test because of these guys. You know, I got to test Link's like initial 10 smooth swing fonts that he came back into the sound font world with. I tested Ra-Ra's Wonder Woman font, an Optimus Prime font, You know, I tested so many cool things, and worked on Anger and Lust for Power. I think that was like the first big project that we
That
did
was
together,
the project.
and it blew up way better than we imagined.
Thank you, Kyle, if you're watching.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle, for sure. But yeah, no, because of all that,
Because of Obi-Wan.
because of Obi-Wan,
That's
I
why.
probably wouldn't be here on screen as co-host with this awesome guy, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Good
My
job,
turn.
Aaron. That's awesome,
so.
man. Hey, I wouldn't be here without you either, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. Now, you know something? Brandon, don't let me get on the soapbox. Here it comes.
There you go.
There we go.
Don't
All
do
right,
it.
so everybody has a different story as to what brings them into the hobby. You know, and a lot of people's story is they're Googling and they find one of the three, and we all know what the three are. I ain't gonna say it, but that's not my story. You know, so many things bring us in, but how many of us have a story of what keeps us when we're ready to quit? I hit that point a couple of times. You know, early on, I was kind of going back and forth. Like, do I want to do this independently or do I want to go on Saberfont? You know, and eventually I ended up there. But I hit a really, really, really low, and I mean low point after my mom passed. A super low point. You know, not many people know the details afterwards, and even fewer people know the real truth behind it. However, I will say that there was a point that I was ready to toss in the towel. You know, I was drained. I was between jobs. I was working a real crap job, actually. I'd just been injured. You know, I'd lost family. My wife lost family. We had lost Jeff Birch, 2018. What was it? You remember? I lost like 5 people that year alone. I remember talking to you about it. And I got to tell you, Daniel, as far as influences and inspiration goes, I mean, I don't want anybody to feel left out here if you're watching this, but this is what's in my mind and in my heart. The way it all went, you know, what got me into the hobby itself was the typical way you get in. You know, you see something from the main 3 and you follow up with something custom. I'm a lover of everything custom. I love custom stuff. All my Sabers custom. You know, it was as far as inspiration, you know, Rob Petcow, Bespin 2 was the big one. I mean, that one right there was something that was like, hi, Mrs. Jeff, I see her. Bespin 2 was a big driving force behind my wanting to make fonts. You know, because Rob's a legend. And I always wanted my work to be that good one day. You know, and that's a great thing. Other inspiration, you know, just people that I really admired in the community itself. Just I can turn on and they would just make me feel better. That would be this guy right here. You know, he doesn't even know this, but I would go to his videos just to watch the inspiring ones, you know, about how we should be positive people and better people, and how certain things are necessary and are not necessary. And you know, it goes without saying, it doesn't matter who says those things. There's feedback that comes with it. You know, there's blowback. I've said it on my live videos back when I was doing Facebook stuff. He said it on his. You know, it doesn't come without consequence, and we're aware of that. We know that, but we say it anyway because that's the type of people we are. I think what really kept me here was, number one, it's this dude right here who I get the privilege of talking to every single day. You know, and the first time he ever called me it freaked me out because I'm like, hang on, freaking this legendary character is calling me. Like, at the time I was only in this 3.5 years, and this dude's calling me up. Like, holy crap, dude. Real brief. I was told when I joined the TRA back when it was the IRA. That tells you how old I am in this community. The first thing somebody said to me, and I think the moderator at the time was Luke Skywalker. That was his name, if you guys remember. He said, if you want to be anything in this community as a font maker, you need to be half as good as Link is. I remember him telling me that.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. And I don't, and to this day, I still don't know who that moderator was. I don't know the real identity of
it's
that.
Irrelevant. I wouldn't
I know.
listen to anybody that says things like that. That's a cuss word, man.
It's Luke Skywalker.
The second person who did their damnedest to keep me here and succeeded was my man Chris, the Wild Man Selman, who's another one who calls me very, very often. As a matter of fact, I just saw him today. Had lunch with him, and regardless of what people think of comments that are made in whatever forum, deep down, real talk, real human being, real human relations, he will always, always, always be there for you. He will always be there with a helping hand, a kind word, because you can toss business and sabers and toys and stuff out the window, and what do you have left? We have each other. Even if the mouse were to shut this all down tomorrow, we still have each other, and he understands that. He knew that from go. And I understand that, and he helped me understand that. And I will be forever grateful for that. The third person, and this is the last one, then I'll shut up. The last person who frequently checks in on me and my mental health, checks on my family, is this guy right here. And I've had him on the stream once because, he works his ass off for his family. And, he's probably one of the most unique and talented creators we have in this community, who he deserves to be more well-known. But Will, he calls me up on the regular, and, he asks me how I'm doing and what I'm working on and helps me with ideas. But more than anything, he's just there. He's always been there. And these three individuals have been here doing this long before I was streaming, long before I was doing those old really terrible Facebook Live trivia games that I used to do. I mean, that's how long, we've been chilling and doing this thing. I wouldn't still be here if it weren't for them, and I wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for everybody on this screen. And truth be told, I would not have been able to establish the friendships that I have with Aaron, with Mike, with Jedi Jeff, or even had the courage to reach out to Jeff Birch and be like, "Hey, man, let's be friends." Because again, being somebody with a personality like mine, it was really, it made, I was like nervous reaching out to folks like him and folks like Todd Johnson, the thunder god of sabers, Darth Alice
Todd's
himself.
legit, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of stuff. I will be forever grateful for all of this. I'm reminded every time I'm making a banner for the next live stream. I'm not PewDiePie. I'm not Markiplier. I'm not Corey X Kenshin. I'm it's like I told somebody long ago when they were popping off at me. I said, "You don't know who you're talking to. I'm just a dude. I'm just some guy. I got a family, I got kids, I got dogs, I have a life, I got a job. This is my hobby. I can be gone tomorrow and I'll be fine. But I still count my blessings every day for who I have, for what I have, and for my ability to do what it is I do, whether I have 300 subscribers, 800 subscribers, or 7,000 subscribers. It doesn't matter. I got what I got. These are the cards I was dealt, and I'm damn thankful for it every single day. So that's my answer.
Cool. Awesome, man. Dope. Well, you guys have been great. Thanks. Thanks for having me. This has been super fun.
Absolutely, dude. While you're here, I want to go ahead because I know you didn't really get a chance to, talk about it much, but I did manage. Where the heck are they? Here we go. If you want to briefly go over some of this stuff, I have some pics here from your site, some work that you've done. Anything you want to say about any of this stuff?
So those, all I did was the installs on those. Red Fox actually did the powder coating on the green one. I don't know who did the etching on the other one. Those are fun. A little bit tricky with those echo helts to make switches that work. Those were really fun though. I think Golden Harvest V3s, if I remember correctly, for one of my regulars. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, that's another one of those ArcSabers. It's that green one, and it actually came back to me for more modifications and upgrades. And so I talked with the client about it, and we had this idea of doing the Bendu lightsaber. And so we wanted like, a real natural feel and look to it. And so I added that's real bamboo. So I cut the shrouds out and everything on the bamboo and then put the leather wrap on it. So, but that one was really fun. It came out looking way better after all the customization, in my opinion. Oh yeah, that one. So that was a recent one. And that's got a battle damaged peekaboo crystal in there. That's all Saberforge parts. Surprisingly, I thought they came together well. It does have from TCSS. It's got an LS6 control box for independent LED function and all that good stuff. And then it's a photon blade that I made for that one. Yeah, so that one's really cool. That was fun. Oh yes. The Ogdo Killer Twins. This was a big project. I loved this one. Yeah, the airbrushing up there for the heat stains on the emitter was really fun. Doing the detail on the handles, and then he's got 3 different ways that he can put those together. So you can either do 2 single handled, or he can put it together as a double Gero-Tapal, or he's got the battle damaged Gero-Tapal lightsaber. So a lot of cool options with that. Both of them with CFX NeoPixel. That's a tricky hill to work on. It's fun, and there's some mesh in there inside of the crystal chamber, which looks really cool too. So yeah, that was fun. Yeah, there you go. There's the heat staining.
Dude, that's sick.
Thanks. Yeah, it was. Sometimes you see where people put a little bit of heat staining. He was like, "Do it, just do it. I want him to look burnt." I was like, "Okay, we're gonna make him look burnt." Of course, it's aluminum, so you can't make that color with the metal. But airbrush, baby, airbrush all day.
Now, I have to make a comment about this next picture because it was very, very, very exciting to me. The very first time I ever saw this done right, and I'm going to throw all the credit where credit's due to Benji. I sent Benji a Fallen Order hilt, and he was the first one to ever get back to me and show me that the busted end down by the pommel was done right, and he was talking about like he had taken it out and shot it with a gun. Something like He
That's
literally
dedication.
freaking shot it.
Dedication.
That is a man who is dedicated to his art. I love Benji though. Benji's great, man. He's got such a good eye. Yeah, exactly. You'll shoot your eye out.
For real, dude. But it's refreshing to see that there are so many folks who have been able to nail this. Because detail like this is not easy by any means.
It's very time consuming and meticulous and tedious. But it really, I got to tell you, for the people, especially the DIYers, if you take your time, really think about it, take your time, plan things out. Creating something like this is actually not all that difficult. It's really tedious, So again, don't rush it. Don't rush the process. If something's not right, start over, take it apart, wipe your glue off, whatever, and try it again. Better to take your time and get it right. And but yeah, I've seen a lot of people do really cool things, like these. Benji's amazing with that kind of stuff. So I agree. Yeah, those were fun. That was a fun project.
I don't regret sending that hilt off to him at all. And I have not seen many people. I could probably count on less than a few fingers. The amount of folks who have gotten this right. And you and Benji are definitely a couple of the ones who've gotten it right. This is phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
Boom.
Oh yeah, man. So it's very rare that I get to work on other companies' products when it's offered as an option. It's always kind of fun. So this one, obviously, you guys can recognize that hilt. One of the best companies in lightsabers, Vader's Vault, which is actually very close to where I live now. They're like my neighbors, really, really great people. And so this client, he wanted an upgrade from, he had in-hilt LED, and he wanted an upgrade to NeoPixel, and he wanted to change the color scheme. So I actually got this after Red Fox Drummer. So the client sent it to Red Fox first, who did all the powder coating, and it came to me. I did the leather wrap, and then the reinstall for NeoPixel. And I got to tell you, Vader's Vault is known for the quality of their work for a reason. It's a great chassis. It's a great quality of saber. You can't go wrong with their company, and that was a really fun piece to work on. It really was. It was great to see the quality of such a respected company. I was like, yep, this is why they have the rep that they have, because it really was a quality install and a small upgrade from me, just a little bit from me.
All right, moving on. We got this one.
Oh man. Oh boy, that's a project. I'll tell you, the Y3. It is a tiny hilt. It's Profi NeoPixel. It's a challenging install for anybody who's new. I wouldn't start with that project. I'll be honest. It's a tough one. There's a lot of really meticulous wire management in a project like that, but it came out great, and the client had a real specific request for a background track for his Yoda sound font, which was great. And so we put the song from Bad Lip Reading, Seagulls, for anybody who's watching that knows that song.
Stop it now.
That is the background. Yeah, stop it now. That's the one. That's his background track for his Yoda sound font, his Yoda preset on that one, which is awesome. So cool.
Nice.
Oh man, yeah, dude, that one was super fun. That's a Sorok custom. So Robert Sotomayor made that hilt. It's beautifully machined. He took parts, put them on his lathe, turned them out, made something really cool with it. The request was just kind of a vague cornhorn-ish or speeder bike-ish kind of hilt. And so this is what he came up with. It was great. Robert also made the chassis for it since it was a custom build. He did a custom chassis, and all of that got sent to me to do the install, and it was super fun. Robert's always a great person to work with. He's super professional. So, when it first arrived to me, I had some questions for him, and he, again, super professional, took the time. He never makes me feel like I'm wasting his time or I'm bothering him. He answered the questions I had. We talked about it, and the install turned out great. And the client, from what I understand, he loved it, and then he sold it. Oh, but it was a really fun install.
All right.
Oh yeah, that was a cool one. So that's one of my regular clients. I've done several installs for this gentleman, and so the the Jedi Killer there. He had seen a post online, and so one of the things, I don't like to copy anybody's work, but he had seen some pictures and gave me some direction based on some other work that he had seen, and asked me if I could, his question for me was, can you do this? And I said, well, I can't do exactly that because I feel like that would be wrong. But I can do something very similar. And so, we turned it into a light side version of Ben Solo's hilt, and with the exposed crystal chamber, and it was a really fun project. It was a little bit time consuming, and then of course the hero, to go with it. That was just, it was kind of, well, I think, what did I call it when I posted it? Master and Apprentice or something like that. Luke Skywalker and Ben Solo collection. So that was a really fun project. Very cool. Oh yeah. That crystal chamber was dope.
Well done.
Thank you.
The
The classic. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, the classic, dude. The MPP. I love the Vader lightsaber. I really do. I think is this the one that had the Goth chassis in it? I
Not
think
sure.
so. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it had a Goth chassis with a metal crystal chamber, and so I went in. It was kind of a weird request, but I was like, man, how am I going to make this happen? But so the client wanted carbon burn. Am I in here? Carbon burn. Like if you've ever cooked too much on a pan and it gets all that crust, that black crust on it. He wanted that inside his crystal chamber, to where it looked like the crystal had cooked the inside of the metal and had built up carbon. So that was an interesting thing to try and figure out how to tackle. And what I ended up doing was I used something. It's I guess similar to liquid e-tape or plasti dip or something like that. But anyway, it's a liquid that dries into a plastic or a plaster type thing. And I used a toothpick and I would dip it in and then put little pokes and holes. And it took me probably like 6 hours to get all the little bits and pieces in there. But yeah, once it dried, it looked like it was totally carbon scored on the inside. That was a fun project. Yeah. Time consuming, but super fun.
Another classic.
Yeah, the Graflex. That's a TFA. You can tell with the brass glass eye there. That's
now, is that a Romans, or is that an 89?
It's not an 89. I don't think. No, I've never done an install. I did a repair on an 89 Saber Graflex once. Okay. Other than that, it's I've worked on KR Sabers, I've worked on TGS, Roman props, and of course the Corbanth 2.0s and 2.5s. I've worked on all of those versions of the Graflex. I don't know which one this might have been. I don't remember.
No, I remember. Now I remember what you said earlier, so I had to snag this one.
Yes. Man, you know what's really fun and really sad about this at the same time? That one is actually coming back to me right now. I got tracking on it today. It was sold so the client that I made it for ended up selling it, and it got damaged during shipping, which is always a horribly sad experience for everybody anytime that happens. And so, between the two of them, they reached out to me to see what I could do. And so I think it's just going to be a short wire or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but. So I'm going to do a free diagnostic on it since it's one of my pieces. I'm going to take a look at it and see if I can't get it fixed up. But so happy because I can't wait to hold it again because I love that piece. It was so much fun to do. And then sad because I always feel bad if something shows up to somebody and it was damaged, in shipping. And that's the worst. I don't know if you guys have ever had that. But whatever it is you buy. I mean, you could buy a rocking chair and it shows up and it's broken. You're like, ah! But especially when it's your lightsaber, you're like, no, this is the worst. Yeah, exactly.
That's impossible.
So, yeah.
That's not true. That's impossible.
Oh yeah, there you go. So that's the Desert Hermit.
Nice.
That one is the between. It's like the episode 3.5. So hopefully we'll see something like that in the Kenobi show.
Yeah, no doubt.
One's cool. I've done several versions of that same kind of idea, the 3.5. And so what I try to do for the customers, for my clients with these, is to give it not just a look, but also a gritty feel. So it feels like sandblasted. And there's a particular method that I use for that I'm not going to give away to the whole world. But it ends up feeling like it's actually been on a desert and it's been hit with sand, and you get that gritty feel. So yeah, I love the Kenobi Saber. That's always a fun project.
Yeah, any kind of like that.
Yeah.
Kenobi.
Hello
there. And then the last one.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that was a fun project. This one was a double Kenobi set.
Sick.
So one of those is a Mark I with a Rudy Pando crystal chamber, NeoPixel, and the other one is an 89 Sabers K4 with a Goth, I believe it's a Goth 3 chassis with a metal crystal chamber. So what's crazy is that they're so similar and so very different. Obviously, there's a huge divide between the quality of a Mark I with a Rudy Pando crystal chamber and a Corbanth K4. Goth chassis are great. I love working on Goth chassis, but man, those Rudy Pando crystal chambers, baby, what? They are so pretty. Every time I've gotten to work on a project, of that kind of caliber, I'm always so excited and honored, to be chosen for that kind of a project. She needs to go.
Yeah, dude.
Those were fun. Those are super fun.
You've worked on some pretty serious freaking projects. That's no doubt.
Yeah, I'm working on right now. I've got a double Warsabers Star Killer. So there's going to be a weathered one and a not weathered version, but we've got most of the upper wiring finished. So this will be probably the next project that you see is a double Warsabers Star Killer with Profi NeoPixel. I followed the Warsabers guide to restructure the here I'll show you actually restructure all the LEDs on their little board here. So they all had to be flipped around so that you can individually program each of them on a Profi board, and that's a really tricky thing. And then had to change the recharge port and a whole bunch of different things. So it's been tweaked and modified, and so it's going to be really fun. But the internal crystal chamber will have blue lights behind the crystal. Then the crystal will mirror the blade. So yeah, it's going to be a fun project. It is a fun project.
Well, there's one more saber I wanted you to talk about, and I have to go get it real quick. But if there's anything else you want to mention, you got 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay. No pressure. Man, I guess, I just want to say thanks for the invite. It's been so much fun talking to you guys. Good. Some of you I've talked to before. Some of you I haven't talked to ever. So it's really cool to get to know you guys. And I appreciate, just being invited and getting to spend an hour and a half, with you guys on a Saturday night talking Star Wars and lightsabers. I mean, I can't think of a better thing to do than hang out with a bunch of guys talking about Star Wars and lightsabers, So I just appreciate you guys having me. I am a nerd. I know. I love it. I tell my kids all the time. My daughter always tells me, she's like, "You're such a nerd," and I'm like, "Yes, I am," and I am so proud of it. I like being a nerd. I think it's great. I love comic books and superheroes and Star Wars and Back to the Future and
dude.
If it's nerdy, I probably love it. I love Willow.
Oh my God! Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Mad Mardigan.
Mad Mardigan.
That's Val Kilmer's best role ever.
Yep.
So yeah. Yep. All right. So bring it up.
And remember, you never ever give a baby black root.
Right. Exactly.
So
well done,
so a while ago, I had a request for a saber that was for me. My buddy Matt and I were talking about, just stuff that is canon, favorite characters. But if we were ever going to own a saber that defines us, what would it be? Well, I embarked upon that, and I really couldn't find anybody. And then all of a sudden, I started talking with Daniel, and he needed a custom font for a project. So. I worked really hard on it. I really had to dig deep for that one. And in payment, he built me this magnificence right here, which is just, my God, it's everything I asked for. I mean, I wanted something that was going to be Lord of the Rings, along with, High Republic, Old Republic, MHS, leather grip, we got wood veneer, and he even etched my name in Arabesh on the pommel.
Oh, that's what that is.
I'm like, let's go. So yeah, Daniel, talk about this beast for a minute, will you? Because I freaking love this saber.
That was such a fun project, and one of the things, just for anybody who has never had a custom project done, I'll tell you that patience is key when you're working with your installer. Because there was a lot of conversation, there was a lot of back and forth. I remember that top shroud. I think, what did it take us? Four different times that I had to cut the shroud to get just the right look that we were going for. So your patience with that process was really cool and great.
It's because you were trying to make this work.
Right. I had to get all those. So for those of you who can't see it too well, all those pieces, all those shrouds are interlocking like medieval armor. So it's sort of like plate mail where all the pieces stack on top of each other and they interlock, and the etching designs run from one piece to the next. So there was a lot of really intricate, very meticulous sort of work there with the measuring and the cutting and lining things up. And Aaron's patience with that project was great because, originally I was like, yeah, I could probably do it in like 2 months. And I think it took me like 4.5 because it was a tricky project, but and then getting the color on the wood veneer, I think, what was it, like 3 days we kept going back and forth, like, do we want it more red, more brown, more a little this, a little that, and we tried different until we found the right shade, just the right color to go with the leather and to go with the brass. And so, it was such a fun project. I love Lord of the Rings. So when you were like, I want Lord of the Rings, I was like, oh yeah, we're doing vine scroll work and we're going to do the brass. That's where the idea for the armor came in, with the interlocking pieces. And then, you got the Old Republic symbol on there with the bright, shiny chrome. So it was such a fun project. And, I did a bunch of other projects in between. It was, like I said, it took me like 4.5 months from start to finish. And it was one of those, like, every Saturday I was like, all right, babe, I'm going to be in the shop for the next 10 hours. Let's see if I can get some progress done, and trying stuff. But man, after it was all finally done and I got to take the glams of it and I showed you the saber for the first time, I remember your excitement, and I was like, yes, we got it.
I made a video for you, if you remember.
Yeah, you did. And that's what's exciting to me when I do custom projects is when, after all the difficulties and the back and forth and the tricky parts and the, oh, that's not quite what I wanted. Oh, that's it. Yeah. And then you get to the end of the line and the client's happy and they're like, yes, this is my dream saber. This is what I wanted. It's such a great feeling for me to know that I helped bring somebody else's idea and creativity and, their experience and their love, into physical being. It's what a cool feeling, and I think for most of us that do custom hilts and do installs, and I think that's probably what drives us, is that awesome feeling the first time you get to finally reveal the saber to the client and they're like, yes, it's just, oh, what a good feeling. It hits, you're like, yes, I did that. That's cool. So yeah, that was a fun project, man. That was so much fun and a great trade-off, because the sound font, which I alluded to earlier, is an amazing sound font. It's going to go perfect with that project if I can ever get it finished. But
you'll get it done, don't worry.
Eventually, yeah, it is, like I said, much more challenging than I expected. You kind of know a little bit about it, Aaron, because we've talked about it, but it's trickier than I thought it would be. But it's gonna be really cool. So, and that font's gonna be amazing. Anybody who's never had a custom font done, Fourzze does a great job. He did for me. He did an amazing job with exactly what I was looking for in the sounds and in the character and the feel of the lightsaber that I want to make. Fourzze, without sound, it's just a piece of metal, right, with lights on it. So it's the sound that really gives it the character, the life, and Fourzze did a great job. So thanks, bud.
Well, you are most welcome. Was there anything else you wanted to mention to the community or talk about before you got to head out? Because I remember you said you got church in the morning.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I got church in the morning, so I need to let you guys go here pretty soon. But no, again, just thank you guys so much, and I appreciate all the good vibes and the good feeling and some great questions, really poignant and thought provoking. So you guys have been great. Thanks so much for having me.
Dude, you're welcome in here anytime.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Dude,
y'all have a good night. I'm out.
So nice to meet you.
Yep.
Later, dude.
Bye.
And then there were us. And the comment section is lit the freak up tonight. My God,
Yeah,
we have a lot of
is.
interaction.
The comment section is awesome tonight.
Oh man, absolutely amazing. So Jeff Birch, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to see you. Just I'll stop right there. Glad to see you. Period.
Yeah, thanks. Same here.
Back with us. Amazeballs. Oh man,
Yeah,
Preston, same with you.
There we go.
All these screen
Dorks.
high fives and fist bumps and stuff.
High fives and fist bumps.
You don't want no hug? We ain't gonna give you a hug.
Looks like everybody's doing a bunch of.
Everyone's gonna just leave in the chat. Like, all right, I'm out.
Hey, does this not prove that we're nerds? We're sitting here trying to coordinate digital files.
Yay, technology! Yay!
But it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, truthfully,
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, that is why we're here.
Absolutely.
Pretty much.
Boom.
We gotta
there
get
you
like
go.
a
Lazier.
lightsaber picture later, maybe, guys. Been a while.
Oh yeah, no
So
kidding.
I can't really show off what I got, but I did get a new toy, a new thing in the mail that I've been kind of working on in the background. So if anyone's ever seen like a custom arcade cabinet and how they have like every game ever built in, well,
Yeah.
I basically got a hard drive that's meant for that. Because when I get in the new house, probably in the next few months, I'm going to be ordering this cabinet. And the cabinet comes with stuff in it, but I'm going to take this drive that I just got and put that in instead because it's like one of those ones that has like, and so the interface the program that you open that it uses has like everything categorized, organized. You can even edit like the box art because like when the program opens as if it was in the cabinet, it's what we call a front end, and that front end software it like has this scroll wheel like where you select what system you want, and then it'll bring up another wheel of what game you want, and you can change the box arts for each game. And so I've kind of been messing with that today and going through and playing some games that I haven't played in years, and it's basically like everything from like Atari all the way up to like PS3.
Wow. Dude.
It doesn't have everything. I don't have any Xbox 360, and it only has a few PS3 titles that work, but all PS2, all PS1, like Dreamcast, Saturn. I mean, you freaking name it, it's got it. And so I'm like a kid at Christmas over here.
Wow.
Nice.
And it's a hard drive that's in preparation for this cabinet that I'll get probably towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. So yeah, that piece of technology is, in gaming is just, it's ridiculous. And one more thing and then I'll shut up. So when you play Super Nintendo on an emulator or something, or even on a system, if you have an original or a analog Super NT or whatever else, like
Heck yeah.
you can play those games. Well, there's a subset of if you know how to do it and you know what to look for, and you can run it through emulators, or if you have an EverDrive with something like an analog Super NT, you can play this. But basically, there are MSU-1 chip variants of a lot of games, like a big library of games. And what that means is when you have an MSU-1 enhanced game, that means all the music in that game has been replaced with CD quality audio, not like they took what was there and upscaled it. Like, no, it's completely replaced. Like Zelda: A Link to the Past, for instance, the whole music score of that game was redone like in an orchestral setting and like put into the game, so you can play it with orchestral music. And it's just incredible, man. It's this really like tight knit thing. Like, you got to really look for it and figure it out to play it. But man, you want to talk about an experience. So I have like this whole list of like 30, 40 games that have the, CD quality audio, and it's just ridiculous, man. So I highly recommend it if y'all ever want to get into that.
Yeah, I might have to.
I'm already into it. I'm already.
Yeah, I helped out Fourzze. I hooked him up because when I started talking about it, he's like, I need this. I need it.
I need this.
I need this.
Yeah.
Hey, I got.
I need him.
For the gamer guys.
Yeah.
I had the greatest comment this week. I'm sitting there flipping through YouTube stuff, I showed the boys the Knights of the Old Republic and all that, and then I saw the new God of War, and I've never played that, but we're watching like Vikings 2 episodes a week, so we're halfway through it. My wife sees the trailer, and she goes, "I would watch you play that game."
Oh,
and now it's like, oh, that's like permission, not just permission, but like
do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are those, because I've never touched them, are the God of War games good?
I would play, yes. The answer is yes. And to build on that, since you saw the trailer for the new one, I would go back and play the first one of that series, which is God of War 2018 for PS4. That game, IGN gave that game a 10 out of 10 as a masterpiece, and I fully agree with them. Like the story, the execution, the gameplay, the storytelling, every ounce of that game is a damn masterpiece. Like no joke. And trust me, you will have a blast playing it.
Awesome.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to do it. She wants me to.
Dude, you won't regret it. You're gonna be like, then when you finish it and the next game's not out, you're gonna be pissed. You're gonna be like, I need the next one. Yeah.
Sweet. I'm used to the long ones. When what was it, Fallen Order came out, I was so excited, and then you want to sit down and play it for like 10 hours straight, and then you're like, oh, I finished it in a day.
No, like if you finish Fallen Order in one day, then that's wow, like good on you. But the God of War 2018 is a pretty long game. Like you're not gonna finish that in one day.
Yeah, well, let me add context. The only gaming I've been doing for the last year is Destiny, which I feel is one of those that you have to get in, and if you don't spend like 10 hours a week, you're way behind. So every time I get on, which is every 6 months maybe, it's like, oh, I got all this stuff to do. So the God of War stuff and having a cinematic game, I feel like it'll be more my style.
Dude, when you mentioned cinematics, that's something else that God of War 2018 did that really I don't think it's been done in games before. So it does, and this isn't spoiling anything, it does this thing with the camera work where the camera never leaves Kratos. So like whether you transition from a fight scene into a cinematic or anything, the camera never leaves him. It's like this seamless transition the way they do it, and I've never seen it in any other video game ever.
Huh. Wow.
They got a lot of they won a lot of awards for that game. Yeah. Cool. So it's worth every penny, man.
Yeah, I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Now I've been actually this guy right here and I have both been playing through the Life is Strange titles, and I'll tell you what, it's either for you or it isn't, but I get freaking lost in that stuff. I really do. I started the new Life is Strange today on PS5, and it took everything I had to put it down, and I had to. These puppies just needed attention.
I've been playing that game with a buddy of mine who's actually in the UK right now. He got permanent change of station. He's actually the one that kind of introduced me to the Life is Strange games, and it sort of became a thing where me and him, we play the games together and we joke about it and stuff like that. It's a really good time. I'm actually going to see if I can get with him sometime this weekend, play through chapter 2 of the game. So, yeah. I'm not going to say anything Fourzze because I don't know how far you've gotten. So.
Rage beat the crap out of dude's boyfriend at the doorstep.
Okay, that's how far you've gotten. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was rage-tastic.
You still have a bit to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But no, those titles are phenomenal, and I'm I'm all into the RPGs. I'm all about Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and it's crazy, man, because with Brandon hooking me up with all the retro stuff, I'm gonna be able to play something that I haven't been able to play in probably the better half of 20 years. Because I just got something called the Mega SG, which is basically a souped up Sega Genesis, but I've got a cartridge that lets me play Sega CD games. So I get to play Lunar the Silver Star and Lunar the Eternal Blue for the first time ever. And those are like my favorite games of all time. In 1080p.
That's the kicker. That's the crazy stuff that, like, when we talk about this, like, people just won't get it until they see it. It's like, like native Sega CD native resolution was like
480i,
360 or 480p.
It was 480i.
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 This is jumping to 1080p, which is freaking ridiculous for the time.
What was the name of that thing again?
The Mega SG.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up.
There's a company,
Brandon can get you a link for it.
There's a company called Analog, and you know what? Those devices are actually still for sale, which is and kind of an oddity. They usually sell out when they have them.
So you see it, grab it.
They make a handful of products, but the idea is they make their own versions of consoles that basically act like old school consoles, and the ones they carry are Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. They have a Game Boy one that's coming out, and then there's one more that they've made a couple others that aren't available right now. But this is the Super NT, and this is
that's right. You got the black one. I forgot.
So Super Nintendo. But what's special about these is they have the circuit boards they use are called an FPGA, and that's field programmable gate array. And what it means is the hardware is basically programmed to operate like the original stuff. So it's not emulation, it's hardware emulation, which is totally different. It's lag free, and you can take original cartridges and pop them in, and it plays them in 1080p. It's nuts. It's actually pretty nuts.
So think about how long it took the Sega CD to load a cinematic or a cutscene or something. There is no load time.
Yeah,
it's just going to instantaneously go.
Am I old? Like, I kept seeing all these. You know the one last Christmas that like.
Yes, you are old, and so am I.
I remember seeing it, and I was like, "Oh, that would be cool to have." But then it was like, "But the graphics are going to look horrible." I don't know. I guess I've been under a rock. I didn't know that there were ones that improved the graphics, so you get that. You know, you play the old one, it's like, yeah, I remember this. You play the old one with a new spice, and it's like,
spice.
Spice.
Yeah, no, it definitely, it's, they're not cheap. I think retail, they're $185 or something for the system. And then if you do like what Fourzze and I are doing, we're getting an EverDrive, which is like a flash cart. So it takes a micro SD card, and you can basically put the whole library of games on here. Mm-hmm. Now with the with this EverDrive, the MSU1 stuff I talked about with the CD quality audio, you can also play those off of here. It's kind of a setup. So, and with this, like, I could plug this into an original SNES console, and it would still do all those things because of what's in this, the technology. So there's kind of like two different things. You're merging two different technologies, but they complement each other perfectly. And then the Sega Genesis like thing from Analog is called the Mega SG, and then you can do the same thing. You can get an EverDrive for that, or play your original cartridges. The cool thing about the Mega SG from Analog is, like, if you open up the side, if you have an original Sega CD unit, you can pop it into the SG and still run it. So they thought of that. It's a whole rabbit hole to dig down, but if y'all ever are interested in it, I can help you guys out. It's it's not cheap, and it's like, you got to kind of weigh out, like, do I want to play this stuff on an emulator, or do I really like the nostalgia of like playing on an original cartridge? If I do, I can do these, and it upscales to 1080p, which is really nice. So it's just a personal preference thing, really. There's a million ways to play these old games, right? So we're just, I'm just an enthusiast, I guess. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Saber related. My prototype came back in.
Yay!
It's alive.
Yeah, I felt horrible because, I kind of, what I said in my post before about breaking it kind of made it sound like maybe this thing was made bad or something like that. It wasn't that at all. I literally, my dumbass opened it and I literally snapped the chassis and I had to send it back to Daryl, and
Oh my.
he fixed it, and thank God for Daryl. He said, but yeah. So let me see. So it's a 1-inch blade, 1-inch blade socket. Here's my flagship for reference. So it's really not. It's a little longer, but width wise, geez, my camera work is terrible. It's not really that much bigger. It looks in the
Different
pictures,
shape,
it looks chunky and it looks like it's super blocky and like hard to mess with, but really, it's really not bad at all. I'm not going to turn it on because it's a Profi and it's extremely loud. And but yeah, so
Do it.
Yeah, I have the same speaker in mine right
and
now.
then it's got the cutouts for light to come through. But yeah, so like I was saying, kind of in my post, I'm gonna be working on getting the run. Hopefully by the end of the year, I can have some units in hand. But I have a way to, once I get enough money, and I'm working on that right now, I can pay and have some made empties. And so instead of pre-ordering empties, I will be setting it up to where I'll have some on hand ready to ship. I hope to have them in hand before the end of the year, but we'll see. It just depends on how long it takes me to get the money to order this, which I'm about 75% to my goal on that. And then the how long it takes to order and get here, right? So with the holidays and everything, it could be extended. But for those who were interested in it, I will eventually, in the next 3 to 5 months, have some empties to sell you. So, and that'll be the start.
It never even occurred to me until I actually saw you, holding the hilt. That looks like something Brian Gomer would do very well with flow with, and I would say get some pics of that and send that over to him and ask him, is this something that you and the flow community could have an easy time just practicing with? Because if they can get because if they get them empty, I know what they'll do with them. They'll make them into stunts, and I can guarantee you,
yeah,
they'll go to town.
This part right here is actually a part of the chassis on the inside, the 3D printed part. So these like and you can kind of see the texture of the 3D print. But normally this oval is like just open, right? So whoever does an install on these will have to like come up with their own solution for that. Yeah. But I did that on purpose because what you were saying, Fourzze, is really true. Like one of the things that happened when I was doing this pre-order is so many people were like, dude, I know it's Tron themed, but looking at it in bare metal, like there's so many things people could do to customize. And etching, weathering, this oval cutout in the center, like because it's kind of hollow and there's room in there, I mean that could be a crystal chamber for people, whatever they want to do. Like this design really would allow for a ton of customization, and it's a unique shape. It's got this oval shape to it that there's just not a lot of hilts out there that are kind of shaped like that. There's a few, but not many. And so I'm really pumped to get those empties out in the community as soon as I can. I'm working on it, guys. Trust me, I'm working on it.
So speaking of sabers, Brandon, remember how I talked to you about a custom sound font, and I said, don't take your time. It's probably going to be here till December. Well, it came in today.
Holy crap. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. And real
what
quick,
is it? Let's see it.
I actually really wanted to talk about a specific part of this. So what it is 2 Saberforge oracles. Let me brighten my room a little bit. It's 2 Saberforge oracles and the quick release coupler that they sell. And I wanted to talk about this coupler a little bit because it basically has combined a lot of things that I've wanted in a coupler but have not seen before. So before, I've seen couplers where it's a solid piece and it just threads into both sabers. I've seen ones where it does that, but it's kind of split in the middle and you can adjust it to align each hilt. But if you want a quick disconnect one, then it has kind of like a sleeve you pull back and then both hilts can freely rotate. This coupler like solves all of that. So it's a quick release. It's solid. Sick. It does not twist, and you can perfectly align it as I have.
Nice.
That's
cool. I love seeing that come out.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
It's satisfying.
I remember what kind of font you said you wanted to, and I need to. I'll
like twisting kind of disconnect that I love.
Get the 15-pound one though. I got that 50 or 60-pound one.
Yeah.
I couldn't operate it. It was too much.
Yeah, I just opted for the 15-pound one. But even then, the 15-pound one, it's sturdy. You know, it's good.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I love it. We'll get some.
That's awesome.
Close-ups of this bad boy.
Nice.
Isn't Saber Forge stuff the same size as MHS?
No, it is not.
It's not. It is different. Okay, I couldn't remember. So
yeah, they're middle range. They're 1.10. MHS is 1.5.
Yeah. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, and then the MHS2 is
1 inch.
The 1 inch, like
the
Vader's vault and stuff.
Yeah. Those quick release covers, that's pretty cool. I wonder, and they're the only ones that are offering something like that right now?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool to see other companies try to adopt a similar design or at least similar mechanism to what they did.
Yeah, the Ultra Saber one was decent. I mean, it's a big one and it looks wonky, but you know, it was nice to be able to just reach down and do it. You know, once you do one of those quick connects, you can't use a screw together and the clocking. You're spoiled.
Yeah, but you know, one thing about the Ultra Saber's quick disconnect one that I just didn't like very much was that each hilt was able to freely rotate, and so your alignment was thrown off. It wasn't too big of a deal, but it's just one of those little things, you know.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good one.
Oh yeah,
cool.
Well, I'll definitely. I'm actually gonna. So Jedi Jeff, I don't know if Fourzze mentioned this, but I won't be making next week's halftime show, and possibly not 2 weeks from now's show either. It depends on that one. That one's up in the air. I'm going on vacation. I'm flying out Monday, so I'm going to be gone for almost 2 weeks. And but the reason I brought that up is because for Johannan, you know, I've got other commissions I'll be doing when I get back.
Take your time.
I'm going to add you. Well, yeah, and I'll add you to the back of the list, and then I guess you can just let me know like when you want to like ramp it up. But I remember the idea you gave me, and I'm actually pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not really in any rush. I still got to plan out the chassis and internals for this, how I want to install it. So take your time.
Nice.
Hey, I'm going to be going here in a second. I wanted to say I feel bad. I didn't know Daniel really existed as long as he has. You know, he was talking about, you know, stealing the soundboards and stuff. And it's like, man, it was nice getting to know him. And I almost feel bad if I posted a video on my YouTube, you know, was at 2 now this year. And if I would have posted it tomorrow, people would have thought that I was like stealing the stuff that he said tonight. A lot of the stuff he was talking about was like for the new people. So I'm gonna have to reach out to him more. I like a lot of the things that we were showing. It was nice. I appreciate the invite. You know, sometimes I get on a little bit later and be here during the whole guest part. That was cool to meet him. Thanks.
Absolutely,
Awesome,
dude. You're welcome anytime,
Hey, you
and
need
all the time.
Let me know when you swing back through Austin, man. That was a good time.
Yeah. Oh! I gotta tell that story.
Nice.
I never told it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Brandon knows, and I asked him because I didn't want to embarrass him or nothing.
Uh-oh.
I asked him, "Can I tell this story?" And he goes, "What story?" And I was like, "Well, I don't want to spoil it if he doesn't know." And I was like, "When you attacked me with the sauce or something like that." And I got the impression that he didn't know or remember or something. So we go to this taco place.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and they have the little sauce containers, little plastic ones that you take the plastic top off. Well, they cap them there. So we sat down, and keep in mind we've written 1,000 times on here and Facebook and all these places, but this was the first time I met him in person, and I'm kind of shy meeting people in person. So I'm like sitting down, I'm like, "Yeah, man," and we're talking, and I'm trying to be like polite because you never know if somebody's like, "Oh, you say those words or you act like this," in person. You have that thought. So I'm like trying to undo this sauce container, and as I pull the top off, it was like super tight. I smash the container and it flies into my lap. And I'm looking at him and he's still talking, and I'm thinking, "Oh, he's so polite. He's not going to embarrass me." Because as I look down from the table down was this entire 2 ounces of taco sauce, and I'm like, "Oh man!" And he's still talking, and I'm like, "He's so polite. It's dripping down my pants and onto the floor now." And I'm taking all these napkins and trying to get it up, and I'm being cool, "Oh, still a little bit of taco sauce." But as I left, I thought, I wonder if he knew that whole thing was in my lap. And then I thought,
I don't think so.
Why is this guy that I'm just meeting, he keeps rubbing his crotch with napkins? So I wanted to tell that the last time I was on here, and I forgot. But yeah.
I don't think I noticed, brother, to be honest. I really don't think I noticed, man. And typical me, I start talking and I don't shut up, so I'm just, Yeah.
I thought you were just being polite.
No, I tell you what, man.
I was embarrassed.
Jeff, it was such a good time, man. And again, if you do swing back this way, we got to do something again. But I know when I told Forrest, he was so pissed. He's like, "And what? I want to come out there and hang out with you guys, man. Come on."
Yeah, it was
Nobody
fun.
wants to hang with fours.
Oh, whatever.
Oh man.
Oh, we're gonna hang in December/January, man, for sure.
I know. I
hey,
want to
next
be there
year,
for that too, man. I got to figure that out.
Yeah, I want to plan it too.
If anybody goes to
Nice.
Comic-Con, I'm 20 minutes from it. So,
In
or
Cali?
not Comic-Con. Celebration.
Oh, Celebration.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I wish I could afford those tickets, man.
Right?
We'll talk. Hey, I'm a local. I was writing on about the NASCAR races. Being a local, you got all these groups that are posting. They're like, "Hey, so and so's having a celebration party. So and so's having a NASCAR party." You go to all these things and you spend an hour to buy a beer or something, and they throw your ticket in there. And I usually end up with local stuff. I usually
So
end
we're
up
gonna
with an
email
extra.
Jeff,
Yeah.
and then
It's
everything's
a
gonna be
little
great.
bit harder to get those, but I try to always have an extra. Just
Got to do a
so that
couple
I
of
don't
favors here and there,
Yeah.
pull some strings or something.
Yeah. So if any of you guys are out here, we'll get lunch. But I do have to go. It was nice hanging with you
Great
all.
seeing you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Jeff,
Always
as
good.
always, it's a pleasure.
Thanks.
and even on the
Come back to
halftime
me next
show,
time.
even on the halftime show, you're more than welcome anytime. You know that.
100%.
Appreciate that.
Post more in the Repulse group too.
Will do. All
All
right.
right. See you, bud.
Thanks, guys. See you.
Later, dude.
Good night, dude.
Ian, what's up, man?
Just got done pulling my second double in a row.
Oh boy, you're
Well,
beat.
welcome
And
to
I open
fun time.
tomorrow.
Oh my
that's
God,
shitty.
dude.
That's
Just-
shitty.
You ever wonder like why do I even go home? No, I'm kidding.
I was actually telling everybody I work with we should set up a cot in the back. So I can
That's what I
take a
say in
nap.
these cases. Yeah. Wow.
I can say that I can relate. I've definitely had more than one job where it's literally like you live there. Like
Yes.
like no
just
joke,
snag
man.
up an RV, man, and drive it to the back of the parking lot where you
Yeah.
work. And, a few of you like carpool in together and then just rent it by the week.
Yeah, you can make a side hustle that way, man.
Right.
Just get some
Hey,
air
you know-
freshener. Damn, man. Spray afterwards, all right? You know?
Right.
I'm so I'm keeping an eye on the comment section myself, and I forgot to mention at the beginning of the stream that there's a new shocker. There's a new group, but it's a really cool group over on Facebook.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Bring it
Blast
up,
it. All up in there.
So, if you guys, I'm trying to get it in the banner here. If you guys
Do
are
it.
on Facebook, do it.
Do it.
If you
Do
Subscribe.
subscribe, if you guys
It's
get a
Johanna, man.
chance,
Every time he gets that, he makes his face when he makes his voices, and I just love it so much.
do it. Anyway, it is the Lightsaber Sanctuary on Facebook.
Oh, I have seen that. Yeah.
And
Oh,
it
really?
is a stellar freaking new group.
Hell yeah, man.
Although
Get it,
everybody's
get all up
like,
in it.
another group, come on, man. But no, seriously.
That's like the
it's-
point, right? Like more, it's more.
More love.
But
It's more.
Russell, and hey to Russell, has just posted that hitting 500 members there, they're going to have over $1,000 worth of giveaways.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
what?
Yes.
It's super cool.
Man, I wish
I'm in.
Russell could have hung out tonight, man.
As a matter of
So-
fact, my very first post on that page was Ian's Saber font demo of Daddy Issues Complete. I put that on there, and one of the first people that because I posted as me, I didn't post as my Fourzze FX page, I just posted as myself. And one person I've never even met before, the very first thing he comments, he says, "Now wait a minute, you're Fours?" And I'm like, the one and only.
I've
So
gotten
there's
that
still
a lot.
people who have no idea who the freak I am, and I'm
I've
like,
gotten that a bunch, man.
okay,
When I post as
fix
myself,
that.
and they're like, "Wait, your link?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." It's like, yep.
And to kind of, piggyback off of what Jeff had just said a little bit earlier, he said he felt bad because he'd never really heard of Daniel, and Daniel's been in this gig for a long, long time. And not to dismiss the people that everybody hears about first all the time. There's a lot of people who serve our community. Everybody on this screen serves our community, and lots of people don't know that. Which is why I have the variety of guests I have on our show. You notice that I don't just bring on, the very first person you hear about all the freaking time, because there are others who need some spotlight. I just happen to get extremely lucky with a few of our guests, like let's see, Johnny, for example. But I mean,
You understand?
Yeah, you understand? It does my heart good, though, to get guys like Brian Gomer, like Andrew at Bendu. When Russell was with us, that was awesome. What a fantastic guest. I'm going, and just to be truthful, I'm going outside the box in 2 weeks. So we're going to be going in a completely different direction. I mean, we've had more installers than we've had anybody else. So we're going to go a little different next time around, and I'll let you guys know in the after party who it is. But yeah, I mean, it's I like the variety. And eventually, probably at the end of the year, sometime in December, if I can get it, I want to have a full panel of past guests. I want to have Andrew. I want to have Russell. I want to have Kyle. I want to have everybody. I want to have Brian. I want to have everybody who's been a guest all in here at once. Just no questions, no interviews, no BS. Straight up hangout. Straight up nerd up, chill time. I just want to do a night of fun for that. I think that would be a really great thing.
That would be stellar.
Oh, absolutely. But no, I mean, everybody we've had, our usual crew here, this is a really great setup, and I'm way stoked that we're doing this. So life don't get much better than that.
No, and it's a great break from reality is what it is, just to hang out with all you guys, no matter what we're talking about.
I'll tell you what, whenever Chris, Selman, when he comes to town, there's a spot we always meet up at in the Villages. It's called Square One Burgers. Best. I didn't know that burgers can be deluxe. I had no clue there were like super high class burgers that you could pay a lot of money for. Like, you've heard of the $100 burger, right? Out of New York and everything. Mm-hmm. But like, we've got a place here, probably about 30 miles that way. It's a deluxe burger joint. Like, it's a classy freaking gig.
The old deluxe.
Yeah,
all the
and
fixins.
It's phenomenal. So, and every time he comes in from his home state, we always chill there every time. And today, he was in town, and we went out there and just chilled and talked Sabers and talked life and talked puppies, and it's always good to meet up with folks. Hopefully one of these days, when y'all can get down here, because the old deluxe.
Dude, we'll
definitely
have to.
Texas, man. We got to do stuff like that. I need the deluxe. Give me extra mustard, mayo, the whole fixins, everything.
We'll have to do that while I'm down there.
Yes.
Please.
If we can time it, Jeff, we can get Chris down here at the same time, and all of us can head out and go.
No. I've already talked to Chris, and he will be there.
Freaking yes, let's go.
So it's definitely. Well, hopefully
I'm
Brandon
the one that's
can
gonna
make
have
it.
To drag my ass out there.
So hopefully Brandon can make it. Hopefully Mike can make it, and that'll be like a majority of us, which would be cool.
All the spice,
excitement,
all the excitement. The cream was that stupid picture you sent me. This guy. His wife says, I want you to paint a mural of something, of some inspirational quote.
No, I'm gonna go get it right now.
The cream.
You tell the story. You tell the story, and I will go get it.
You get the image, man. That shit was so.
Found it.
Freaking, he paints Macho Man on the freaking wall. And the cream rises to the top.
You guys got to check this out. This is ridiculous.
If you didn't grow up with Macho Man, I'm sorry. I know you won't get it, but
so
oh man,
this meme, I found this meme, and Brandon and I joke almost every.
Ready?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I just remembered that.
I saw this meme and I thought of Brandon and I sent it to him, and this was freaking classic.
Oh man, yeah, honey.
The cream. That's the cream. That's awesome. I want like a wall decal printed.
That's hilarious,
dude. That's
my god,
straight up in the house.
Bro,
I told Brandon when he gets into his new house.
My wife would divorce me, bro.
I'm saying, do it like a removable wall decal. You know?
Oh,
yes.
Worst
What
case.
do you remember?
Oh man, it's too good.
Oh my god.
But yeah, and then Mike's over here. Saw is ready.
No, I just had a thought, and it came out loud by accident. I was like, wait, I said that out loud.
And then the people in the crowd are like, yeah, bone saw. And the guy's coming out on the stretcher. I can't feel my legs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Bro, that is the best. That's the best thing ever. That is the best thing ever. And then, so one of the moderators in the Lightsaber Sanctuary, that would be our friend Aaron here. We're like catching up on AA runs here, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Bunch of AA runs.
There's too many. There can be only one.
I love Highlander.
That's right.
Which is why I'm Fourzze.
Sound fun?
Working on getting a Beskar staff.
Freaking Christopher Lambert, man. Freaking the fate of billions.
Billions.
Sorry.
Before that new Mortal Kombat movie came out, we were watching the crap out of that old one, and it was so good.
Billions.
Billions.
In Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. I challenge you, Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god.
We can't, man. We gotta go.
I need one more. So he freezes this guy, right?
Oh, and then he explodes. And you see his guts and everything. How much lost my life? Disgusting.
Oh man. I can't.
I'm done.
Oh
disgusting.
Disgusting.
Yep.
Oh
Anyway.
man. All day. Let's see. Russell says he was watching some. Oh, Russell says he. Okay, so cool. When I put the video up, they were connecting to your channel, Ian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's fantastic.
I'm really happy people are finding those. I enjoy making them.
Someone's doing their saber.
I was gonna say someone's.
Mine are over there.
It's not Jeff.
Mine on hands.
For once, it's not me.
It's not me either. Yeah.
What was it from The Hobbit? Hansels.
Or nothing. Stupid fat hobbitses.
Stupid fat hobbitses. What's the process?
I don't know.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that can do that now.
Shut up.
So who had the Power Rangers ringtone that kept going off in the background?
That was awesome.
I was gonna say who was talking to Zordon a few minutes
Yeah,
ago.
that was awesome.
I think that was our guest.
Oh.
I think that was Daniel.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's even better.
Yeah. Oh,
I
was like,
I liked
let's
him
go.
already. I like him even more now.
Yeah.
So, because that reminded me of a meme that got put up on the other day on Instagram the other day that says, "Couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about how the Green Ranger had a dagger that was a flute that sounded like a synthesizer that's trying to sound like a trumpet, and he blew it with his helmet on."
Yes.
Yeah.
That little slit,
The most epic freaking war cry ever, man.
I actually have a toy one here. That's like my son's. It's like this big
I need
though.
one of those.
But
You should be a proud man. That is fantastic.
Somebody made a metal version of that, sharpened and everything. I would love to. I'd love to see that.
Nice.
Man at Arms, maybe.
If y'all are a fan of Jason David Frank, he is filming a new original movie called Legend of the White Dragon. Do yourself
With
a favor
Batman's
and
son?
look it up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not like Power Rangers per se universe. It's like a
But
whole
yeah,
new
but
universe.
it's very inspired by.
Oh, it's fantastic. I saw the little trailer for it on Bat in the Sun.
They're actively filming it now. I'm like, I cannot wait.
That and the Sun.
So the
they release
opposite
so
of
much
Kraken,
cool stuff.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about old school things, I know Fourzze, you've seen the new Masters of the Universe that Kevin Smith did.
You want to talk about controversy? Here's something controversial. I freaking loved it. I really did.
Did you see what's on? Did you see what's on there now? They've redone another Masters of the Universe.
That didn't take long.
Have you not seen it? It's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and it looks horrible.
Uh-oh.
I'm not gonna lie, it's all computer animation, like CG, and it looks horrible.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Star Wars isn't without its sections of things like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Topic of conversation that came up today when I was having lunch with Chris. We were talking possibilities of the new Kenobi. And the more I talk about Kenobi, the more hyped up I get for this freaking show. I'm not even joking.
Yes.
One of the biggest things that I read, and I'm not certain. And I don't know if it's true, but there's a mention of him and Hayden having another fight scene. And all I can think about in that is that the series itself is going to build back up to Mustafar again. Like, because I can see this going like a big flashback series. Seriously, Kenobi's going to be going through something kind of like Mando. Like he'll have his adventures, but then he'll have to dial back to his Clone Wars time to, help him remember whatever lesson he learned to help him get through it. While at the same time he's training under Qui-Gon. One of the things that came up was the reappearance of Cody. Like, what happened to Cody? It's because it wasn't covered in Bad Batch. It wasn't covered in Rebels. Not that I recall. And what a great reuniting that would be. Especially after this whole thing with, I'm going to assume everybody has seen or has had Bad Batch spoiled for them. It's been long enough.
Mm-hmm.
But the inhibitor chips, like, we don't know how many clones out there either had them removed, they were damaged, or they fought through it. Like, we don't know. So there's always that possibility that Cody could have been spared from that. And how freaking cool would it be if during the course of, Obi-Wan dealing with whatever it is he's dealing with, coping with his loss and his new training and watching Luke and still dealing with Anakin's loss, we have Cody come back. That would be insane. And there's Jeremy.
That would be awesome.
I have
Jeremy!
a pretty good piece of news about the Kenobi show.
There's Cody, but the big thing was, how awesome would it be if we got to see Anakin and Obi's battle from a different perspective? Because they're talking about, okay, so they're going to be fighting again. Well, it doesn't make sense to me, because Star Wars rarely makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me to make them fight again, like a second time. Like, it wouldn't, because if you fast forward to Episode 4, the circle is now complete. I'm now the master. Or
presence
a presence I haven't felt since that time after I got my legs cut off. But before now. But after I lost the plans. But before, it wouldn't make much sense. What if we got their battle from a different perspective? Like the scenes where Yoda was fighting the Emperor. We got to see the parts of the battle that was happening during then. Like the complete edition of that fight.
Oh, so like the interludes that would be between jumping on something here and like getting from one place to another place.
Them having real emotional dialogue, the between all the flippy dippy Power Ranger stuff where it's all perfectly choreographed, like they're worn, they're tired, they're heated because it's a freaking hot planet, and they're just swinging like crazy. You see the angst. It gives you a better perspective. And there was an animated scene between the two of them after Ahsoka was gone, and Anakin was asking Obi-Wan, what would you do if I had turned? That's something they can reenact with those two actors as a memory sequence, and it would be so impactful. Or how about a major argument the two of them, like a throwdown argument the two of them can have after Ahsoka's been dismissed. There's so many little things that they can cover to make Anakin's falling make more sense. Because I'll be honest with you, back when I saw the movie in the theater for the first time, Anakin falling to the dark side didn't make sense to me because it came too fast. There was no Clone Wars. It was like, I can't be with my wife, so now I'm going to get angry and kill children. Okay, great. That's essentially what it was. Like, I don't get my way. We need more meat and potatoes of him actively turning. Sure. We only got so much in Clone Wars of him giving in to little dark desires, but for the most part, he was General Skywalker. He was a hero. He was a hero from start to finish throughout that entire series, and we never really got to see the fall. We need to see... I want to see him fall. I really want to see some trigger points and watch him go from from little Annie to Darth Vader. Does that make sense? I really need Kenobi to show me that.
Right.
And I want to see Kenobi lose his ever-loving mind. Like, Kenobi needs to have a moment of weakness. The only moment of weakness he ever had was when he screamed when Qui-Gon died.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan should have come unhinged when Satine was killed. That should have been the end of Maul right there, but it wasn't.
I agree.
Just one man's opinion.
And that's cool. You mentioned Cody, so I hope they stay with Tamara Morrison. If he shows up as Cody, because that would be awesome. Like, good continuity.
Oh, if they bring Cody in, they'll definitely stick with him because now, they stuck with him as Boba Fett in Mandalorian.
You have to.
So
yeah. Another thing I really want to see, there's all that talk, and we know that he took Anakin's saber right after that fight. I want to see it, and I want to see how he's trying to. Well, they were saying he was changing it, that clamp and whatever was different from when Luke got it. I want to see at least 1 second of that. That would be cool.
Well, and there's been lots of imagery or artwork where you see Kenobi after Episode 3 with not only Anakin's lightsaber but Qui-Gon's lightsaber.
That's right.
And what did he do with Qui-Gon's lightsaber? Because you never, other than him using it in Episode 1 to cut Maul in half, you never see or hear of Qui-Gon's lightsaber again. So what happened to Qui-Gon's lightsaber? That would be nice to find out.
I thought it was broken down. I thought Luke found it.
Yeah,
took the crystal and built a saber with it.
I thought Luke's Return of the Jedi crystal was Qui-Gon's.
Eventually, I feel like, but initially, I think Anakin was trained with it as a boy. I read that somewhere.
Really?
Anakin first had Qui-Gon's as his first one before they went to Ilum or whatnot to get crystal. So I forgot where I read that. Somewhere, Star Wars Wiki. I don't know where I read it, guys.
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
It would just be nice to see them deal with that. Like, did he have it in his hut, and that's where Luke found it?
Yeah. Cool with like the manual. Well, not the manual, but the Jedi text.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, guys, a little sidetrack, but I found that little Green Ranger dagger.
Yay!
It's not even a mail opener. I mean, I guess you could use it as one, but anyway, here you go. Hold on.
I saw somebody selling one
Let
in
me press it.
a group a while back.
Stop pressing. And it's like off. It's off a note. I feel like it's off a note.
It is.
And if you hold the button or something, somehow there's a way to trigger the Power Rangers theme, but I'm not sure if I can do it.
It should sound like it feels like it should be up a little bit.
It is.
Like a little higher.
Anyway, next thing you know, somebody's going to get like a full-size version trying to make this into like a lightsaber hilt or something.
I think somebody has actually done that.
Have they? That's awesome.
Somebody sold one that was come from GameStop. Somebody was trying to sell it or trade it off or something. But I remember the GameStop one, and it was like, like altogether, it was probably about the size of a decent hilt, about 12 or 13 inches. It looked like it might be able to be done if you were really creative. I would like to see one if somebody did it. I think it'd be pretty neat.
That's cool.
So I have to admit that with all the talk that we've had about Star Wars Visions coming out, I've seen stuff, but I hadn't actually sat down and watched the full trailer. So my one of my kids and I the other night sat down and watched, because he's like my go-to for Star Wars. Him and I sat down and we watched the Visions trailer for the first time, and I'm actually a little more excited for it than I was before now that I've seen the full trailer.
I think visually it'll be very entertaining, considering where it's coming from, and just how fantastical a lot of the beings and the combat styles and the weaponry is going to be. It's going to be difficult for me to take it seriously if they consider some of it canon.
That's what I was wondering. Is it going to be canon stuff or?
But is it going to be a fun ride? I fully expect it to be a fun ride. I really do. I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. But
I think some of it, Jeremy, is going to be canon, because I know that that in the trailer you see stuff with Slave One and Boba Fett, and so I think some of it will be canon.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now, I will not be making an Umbrella Saber font. That's for freaking sure.
Well, and the nice thing about this one is because it's 9 different stories, 7 different studios. We get all 9 episodes dropped on Wednesday. It's not it's not one episode a week. It's
interesting.
Everything is going to be streaming as of Wednesday.
I'll be watching that during my vacation.
Yeah, I still gotta get caught up with Marvel's What If. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, Marvel's What If is so good.
I gotta watch that, man. I'm so behind.
I've only watched the first few.
The only one that my kids have not been able to actually sit through was the Zombies episode last week. But even that one was freaking amazing.
I'm talking about What If?
Yeah.
I just started watching Loki. Remember, I know I'm late to the game. And what an amazing show so far.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Wow.
I got a lot of catching up to do, man.
Sick.
Yeah, you do, Brandon.
Well, I've got vacation coming up, so.
Because don't forget, we've got we're less than 3 months away from Hawkeye as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Spider-Man.
Right?
How's everybody feeling about Hawkeye? Because I think I saw bits of the trailer, but I'm like, he was never like an interesting character to me in the first place. So what do y'all think?
I was a little
I'm stoked for this.
Okay.
I'm excited. Honestly, it kind of looks like they're. I think the last the with how deep things got with WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they delved into some very deep topics. I kind of think they're. I also don't want to be. The way when WandaVision first came out, it was they focused on the TV episode style stuff with it. Very comedy centric. And it was, but it got very deep.
Yes.
When Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out, they focused on the very action-oriented stuff in the trailers, and it got really deep with how the race stuff would come up, right?
Yeah.
And with Loki, they focused on very much a lot of the comedy-centric, pretty much the first 2 episode stuff of it. Yes. And it got very deep into the lore of everything.
Right.
I honestly think the trailer is very misleading. It's focusing on the comedy Christmas stuff, but will be very much probably dealing with the repercussions of his actions between Infinity War and Endgame. So I think it's going to be very deep.
I also, if anybody here seen Black Widow?
No.
Yes.
No.
Not yet.
I'm waiting to not pay $30 to see it.
Okay, so for those of you that have not seen Black Widow, that is going to because they tied that into Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then that in turn is going to tie into the Hawkeye series.
I'm sure it will.
And once you've seen Black Widow, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about when you see it. So for those of you that are interested in watching Hawkeye, you need to watch Black Widow prior to seeing Hawkeye. And that's all I'm going to say.
I'm still very interested to see what Disney/Marvel does with X-Men. I need the return of X-Men. I need X-Men back, and I need it done right.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who's Wolverine as long as it's done. As long
Honestly,
as it's done right.
If it's done right, they shouldn't have any issues with who is Wolverine. And I think a good tie-in would actually be, especially for Wolverine, is the best thing they did was with Marvel's with how they did Loki. They can pretty much do anything they want and tie it into anything that they want. So,
and Spider-Man / Doctor Strange is going to be the catalyst for that.
I think so.
Because if I'm understanding this Spider-Man trailer correctly, everything gets completely jacked up. Because Doc Ock is alive. And
seeing him, dude.
Shocker is alive.
Let's go.
You know,
I'm just waiting on William Dafoe at this point.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx comes back as Electro.
William Dafoe.
As Green Goblin.
Yeah, see Toby.
So,
comics accurate. Green Goblin.
And it kind of makes me wonder, which timeline do the X-Men exist? Do they exist in Toby's timeline, Andrew Garfield's timeline, or in Tom Holland's timeline?
Well, we know they exist in Tom Holland's timeline because there have been MCU movies and TV shows that have made references to X-Men in a roundabout way.
The thing that kind of... Go ahead.
I honestly think their best tie-in for any of those shows is Deadpool. He would be one character I think that would be a good bridge for all those characters to have, especially with like, how do we do a tie-in? Well, basically, why don't you just do it as, hey, Deadpool, you're gonna have Doctor Strange, you're gonna have the new Spider-Man movie. I think they're gonna bridge very much a lot of those sort of things, but your X-Men tie-in is, I think, would be Deadpool, and him being put into anything that could mess up. Like, honestly, Deadpool messing up the timeline at the end of number 2 could be tied into this whole break.
But I mean, honestly, they've already done the X-Men tie-in via Deadpool anyways. All they have to do is change the cast, because they've kind of confirmed that with Deadpool 3, it's going to be part of the MCU.
Okay.
Yep. I can't wait. Give me all that. Oh, I want all of it. You know what? I keep thinking
it's going to be interesting.
This will probably never happen.
And if anybody,
I really want them to do a TV show, like take the '90s X-Men cartoon, but just give that to Kevin Feige and let him do it in live action.
Mm-hmm.
Can they just
God.
Can they just do me a favor and not fuck up Angel? That's all I'm asking.
Well, that's not the only character that could be done better.
Gambit.
Gambit was...
Hey,
please,
Jeremy,
just
we're
please do
still
my boy
live.
right.
You dropped an F-bomb.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
It's all good.
Good catch, co-host.
Right.
What I'm here for.
I'm sorry. My bad.
So
wait, we're PG-13. We're allowed one.
Does anybody follow? Sure. Does anybody follow Ryan Reynolds?
No.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So he released a concept poster for Deadpool 3, and it's Deadpool with a bow and arrow, but the arrow is Wolverine's forearm with the claws extended.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So because I think he's trying to bring more of the mainstream X-Men characters into the Deadpool franchise.
He should.
I think it's all going to happen. I think it's, the writing's on the wall everywhere. Like, we just need, 3 to 5 more years. But I really think we're going to get all of those things, because you think about the different phases of Marvel stuff. Like, they had the whole Infinity Saga. Now they're ramping up to who the hell knows what, Galactus maybe. I don't know. We in this multiverse stuff, you have no idea, right? So we're building up to whatever the next huge thing is with Marvel. And maybe X-Men's part of that, maybe it's not, but we will get that eventually. It's too much of a cash cow. They freaking bought Fox because of X-Men, and everything else. So it's like, we're gonna get it. It just, it's just a matter of time.
Honestly, give them time.
Time. Exactly. I'm cool with it. 5 years, whatever.
Don't rush it. Don't DC it all by basically going, hey, let's do a full X-Men thing. I'd actually kind of like them to introduce some individual characters, here and there.
Gambit could have his own movie, dude. Let's go.
Well, and I mean, with Marvel too, don't forget that we're getting Ms. Marvel this year too, which is going to be a huge deal, because that's going to tie into the Captain Marvel sequel.
Well, isn't the Captain Marvel sequel the Marvels or something like that?
Yes.
Yep. So and Miss Marvel is going to tie into that. So, I mean, the stuff that they're doing on Disney Plus and with the with the MCU in general is just huge.
Yeah.
And
you know, going back to X-Men, there's we never get what we want. I mean, truthfully, I think out of like X-Men, I only ever got one thing I ever wanted, and that was for Patrick Stewart to play Xavier, because he was the perfect Xavier. He really was.
The only X-Men movie that I think I liked, I think I really, all right, my number 2 most favorite X-Men movie is Days of Future Past. The way that ended was I really enjoyed. But if I could only have one, and I think there's only one that, in my opinion, is like a true masterpiece, is Logan. Logan, out of all the X-Men stuff, and it's really because it's not that it's an X-Men movie. You know, it's not. It's really kind of not. And that movie was just so well done. I mean, it's kind of just stands apart on its own. You know.
You know why? Because there was a comic released. It's not a canon comic, but it's called The End of Wolverine.
Yeah.
I own it.
Yeah.
And Xavier implants his whole psyche into Logan's body, and he continues to exist after he dies. And he's just in Logan's mind, haunting him all the time. And the stuff they touch on is the same crap he deals with in the freaking movie. Just the subject matter is different. But I gotta show you. Go ahead, Jeff.
And it was also based on the Old Man Logan comic book series as well.
Yeah.
But I gotta show you.
And that's what they did great is that's what they're doing great is they're taking all the different source materials that they have and finding the best parts of them to tell these stories now.
Yeah. So this will be the last point that I got to call it for everybody here. But my wife is a huge fan of the show Once Upon a Time, and now she's watching Manifest. I've been keeping an eye on an actor who I think would make the perfect Cyclops. The perfect Scott Summers. Perfect. I mean, you can't beat this actor, because if you go back and listen to Norm Spencer from 90s X-Men and how he was, and then you fast forward and you see how this actor looks, behaves, he's the perfect Cyclops.
Who?
John Dallas. He's the perfect Cyclops in every single way. He could totally play it.
And especially because he was already part of the MCU.
Not pansy Cyclops we got in Wolverine and the X-Men. Oh, Gina. No, I'm talking about the freaking leader, the one who steps up. You know, when Xavier makes a bad call because Lilandra doesn't have her crap together, Scott steps in and says, "You failed to warn us." Like, that's the Cyclops we need, and he's perfect.
Yeah, he was in the first Thor, wasn't he?
Who, John Dallas?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Zachary Levi took over for him when he went and did Once Upon a Time.
Okay.
Playing I forget the guy's name.
But he's the perfect Cyclops.
He was one of the Warriors 3.
And now we just need a perfect Jean Grey to go with him.
I don't know about you guys, but I do gotta call it.
Yes.
I don't know.
We gotta call it here.
Yeah.
Let me outro the show here, and I'll go ahead and just call it. So, this was a really great show tonight, everybody, and I'm really glad that we got Daniel and everybody in the room to just chill with him. We got Jeff back, we got Ian in there, we got Jeremy in here late, but we got him. You know, this is another good one. 2 weeks from tonight, we'll have a very different sort of guest, but I think you'll like her. She'll be pretty cool. So,
Jeremy was right about him being in Thor.
Okay. So, from all of us to all of you guys, we appreciate you guys. May the fours be with you. And remember, bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
Bread makes you fat.